Today on Dr. Phil, is her fiancé trying to control her
Did you say she couldn't even tell her family she was pregnant?
Yes.
or protect her?
Is she only allowed to discuss the weather?
Wow.
What are you so exasperated about?
I feel like I'm going to war with a butter knife right now.
You're ranting and raving. You can barely breathe. You're so upset. You come across like a Tasmanian devil.
I'm not even allowed to be mad at her.
Well, you're blowing that restriction. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've hurt long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Roll second. Take
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
5, 4.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Now, everybody here, you guys have heard the term laundry list, right? Well, my first guest, Lawrence, takes that literally. Here's his list. Put the soap in and let the water fill. Close the lid and let it swish around a little bit. Then put the laundry in. Now, he did not create this list of rules for himself. They are guidelines for his bride-to-be. His possible bride-to-be. And those are just the beginning. Tiffany says Lawrence has other lists and rules, including putting a lock on their bedroom door to keep her out when he was not home, not allowing her to have a cell phone, and only letting her talk to her father about such things as current events and weather.
Lawrence is my fiance. We have a 7-year-old son together. I first realized how incredibly controlling Lawrence was when we first moved in together. He controlled pretty much everything I did. Where I slept, when I ate, he tried to control how I looked. He would only give me prepaid phones, and when the time was up, he wouldn't put new money on it. I did not have my own cell phone for a long time. My family had to call Lawrence's phone to talk to me. Lawrence controls what I talk about with my friends and family. I'm only supposed to talk about the weather and current events, not personal details. When I was pregnant with our second child, Lawrence did not want me to tell my father or my mother. He didn't want me to tell anybody. I respected his wishes until I was about 5 months. When he would leave the house, he would lock our bedroom door, and I had no key. He didn't want me snooping around. He's the most controlling person I've ever known.
Okay, it's good to meet you. I have an email here that you sent to me.
Yes.
Here's an excerpt. Please help. I have been in a relationship for 7 years with a man that hates my family. I went 3 years without talking to my mom and kept the birth of our second son a secret. I want out, but I don't know how. Help, please. So that's a serious email that I take serious. Are you serious?
I am serious. I love him, and I want to make it work, but I can't live like this anymore.
Now, he doesn't see it the way you do.
I know that.
You understand? We're going to hear from him. Lawrence insists he's not controlling his fiancée, Tiffany, but simply setting boundaries. Take a look at this.
I have Tiffany's best interest at heart. She feels that I'm the one who's controlling. However, if I've been controlling, it was only to protect my family. There was a few months where I had a lock on the door, but we weren't even together. I felt it was necessary to protect my privacy. I had bought the phone for Tiffany. It took not even a week for her parents to give out that number to the very people that I was trying to protect her from. She has never come to me with any of these issues, ever. Now suddenly I'm the bad guy. Really, it's her parents that are the problem. Her father is a sick and manipulative, egotistical maniac. Whenever we are in family situations, he uses her and be like, you know, look at me, I'm a great father. Tell them, Tiffany, tell them I'm a great father. She does it. She feeds it. I've made several attempts to fix her lives. I'd wake up every day.
Nobody's asking you to fix our lives.
She has people in her life, including myself, that truly love her, but seems to only enable and validate the people who have been destructive. The unfortunate thing is that nobody really sees what is really going on.
Well, Lawrence also wrote an email just one day after his fiancée, Tiffany, contacted the show. Here's an excerpt from that. My father-in-law has been ruining our lives and controlling and manipulating Tiffany to feed his ego and regain his control over the family. I'm getting the sense this is painful for you already.
First thing, as far as the laundry list, she would literally fill a load of laundry and put soap on top of it. When it ran through, the clothes would still be dry on top. And so I'd literally, agitate the soap. I feel like I've been a parent to her because nobody was there to teach her even how to do laundry.
Has it gone beyond how to do laundry?
Yeah, like I told our first counselor, I've never met somebody as, somewhat ignorant to everyday ways of life. And, her parents are largely to blame for why she has problems functioning. And
You seem really agitated.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just wondering if you know that you're really agitated.
I was doing fine until I saw the initial clip, and I thought, yeah.
We thought we were going to come on here and it was going to be all about me and what I do wrong in my family and not
Well,
about
maybe.
him.
You don't know yet. I said I got issues with you.
I know. I have issues. I know that I do. And I want to work on them, but it almost seems impossible when he's constantly pushing me down.
Basically, what this boils down to is you're just trying to protect her from herself.
I would say that she has literally been self-destructive.
You don't want to control her. You're just trying to keep her from self-destructing or being with terrible people like her family.
I've reached out. It's not her family. There's a few members of her family, and I've reached out to the healthy members. And from day one, I've reached out. Everybody's ignored me. They won't validate me, or they won't listen to me from day one.
Here's what she says Lauren's controlling behavior consists of. And this is just according to her. Let's go through it, and then I'll let you comment. Because I think if you comment on each one, we're going to be here to Thanksgiving. Okay. She says she's not allowed to see her mom for 3 years, not allowed to see her brother until he breaks up with his girlfriend because you don't like him. No relationship with niece because you don't like her mom. Not allowed to tell family she was pregnant for 6 months. Only allowed to discuss current events and weather with friends and family. Not allowed to give family the home address for 4 years. They couldn't know where she was living. Grandfather not allowed to take pictures of the grandchildren. Not allowed to tell family where he works or what time he gets off. No key to the first apartment. Left home without a car or phone. Gave Tiffany a prepaid cell phone, but then wouldn't reload the minutes. Not on the mortgage of the house. Checks miles on car to see how far Tiffany has gone. Must approve clothes before buying them. Not allowed to wear hair in a ponytail. Upset Tiffany's mom, called her on her birthday, said family doesn't need to call when we are together. Controls money, does all grocery shopping and pays bills. Annoyed Tiffany calls the dog Rock and not Rocky. Now that's her list. We just asked her what her perceptions were. That was her list.
Absolutely, man. This is, I have to say, first of all, that the first year of our relationship was so dysfunctional, and it sickens me to this day.
Let's take a quick break, and you take a quick breath. We're going to find out what question our producer asked Lawrence during the field shoot that pushed him over the edge. We'll come right back.
This is pretty shocking.
So what are you so exasperated about now?
I feel like I'm going to war with a butter knife right now. This control thing is two ways.
And later, here's the email she wrote me. Please help.
This looks very bad on my part. I am not even going to deny that.
You come across like a Tasmanian devil. It's like, oh, wow, I can't believe it. Oh, my God.
Lawrence has told me that I'm not allowed to be friends with certain people. He's got a list of people that I'm not supposed to contact.
I didn't give her a list. There was an understanding.
People from my past.
There was a couple people that I did not want in Tiffany's life, and it was for significant reasons.
My best friend, my mother, and even my father. I don't know why he feels that way. He can't accept the fact that I made decisions in my past that weren't the best, and he wants to blame other people for it. This is another example of how he wants to control everything.
Well, Tiffany says her fiance of 3.5 years, Lawrence, completely alienates her from family and friends and even has a list titled Not Allowed to Be Your Friend list.
Are you kidding me?
Of people she cannot talk to. But Lawrence says, look, he is not the problem. He is just trying to protect Tiffany from people who he claims were in her life before and hurt her and used her and exploited her. He's just trying to get those people out of her life and take care of her. Take a look.
Lawrence has alienated me from my family. He wants certain family members completely out of my life. He feels like my family controls me. My dad and Lawrence don't get along. Lawrence does not want my father to come to our house. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Doug is extremely controlling of Tiffany and our lives. Tiffany's 28 years old, and her father will not let go of Tiffany.
I think that my father and Lawrence are a lot alike in many ways, and I think that's what upsets Lawrence.
What do you want?
I want to be able to see my family without getting in trouble by you. Lawrence does not want me to talk to my family. I think he's afraid of losing control over me. I didn't speak to my mother for so long that she actually called the police to do a welfare check on me. Lawrence has forbidden me from talking to my brother's girlfriend, which means I can't see my brother and I can't even meet my niece. I miss her and I miss my brother. I would like to share things with my family, but I feel like I'm betraying Lawrence.
Okay, let me ask you a few questions. Forget about her for a second, just about you. Are you, in fact, controlling and dictating to her who she can have in her life and who she can't?
There's a couple people, yes.
So that, yes. Did you, in fact, say she couldn't even tell her family she was pregnant?
Yes.
Okay.
With one person, with one parent, I believe, and it was very sick
Is she only allowed to discuss the weather and current events with her family? Nothing about
that's
the family?
not true.
You've never said that to me?
I've suggested the fact that your dad controls you, gets personal information out of this while feeding you lies, and I don't understand why you repeatedly, repulsively. Why can't you guys talk about the weather? I mean, people say that I'm controlling. Seriously, even to this day, I'm not even allowed to be mad at her. I'm not even allowed to have feelings of anger because she immediately goes on the offensive, and that's been...
Well, you're blowing that restriction.
Right?
Right? You can barely breathe. You're so upset. Oh, wow. All right, well, Lawrence lost his temper during our field shoot when we asked about some of these controlling behaviors towards Tiffany.
Is it fair to say that you're not the controlling one, her family's the one with the control?
Yes, there's... Well, it's not her family, it's her parents. I'm fighting for the family. There's many good members of her family. Sure. I'm fighting for them, I'm fighting for my son, I'm fighting for Tiffany, I'm fighting for her future. Yeah. I don't know. Only person that... Tiffany doesn't know any better. She didn't know any better then, man. She didn't know any better. And how the did they get her phone number a week after I bought her that phone? And why did Tiffany go a week and a half with these destructive people behind my back? And who the gave her the number? I still don't know who gave them the number. It was obviously her parents. Only few people that we trusted had her number. Somebody that we trusted betrayed us, and Tiffany betrayed me. Dude. Yeah.
Well, here's the question that seemed to set Lawrence off. Quote, is it fair to say that you're not the controlling one, it's her family that has control issues?
Man. Whew. I guess. This is pretty shocking.
So what are you so exasperated about now?
How differently? There's a lot more to this puzzle. I feel like I'm going to war with a butter knife right now. The situation that I came into.
Let me focus on me for a minute.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
Here's what I believe your position is. I got in a relationship with this girl and quickly discovered that she is a product of an incredibly dysfunctional history. And as a result, my job as a fiance and her future husband and the father of our child is to protect her from all of these people that have exploited her and put her in harm's way and used her and abused her. And so, by God, I'm going to stand in the gap and protect her, and that's my job, and that's all I'm trying to do, and if you want to criticize me for it, then go ahead. Is that kind of your position?
Yes.
How am I doing?
Good. And I've
Do I get it? Did I do my homework?
And, and the thing about it is that, I've just waited for something, for her to stand up for something other than to protect protect and enable, you know, these destructive people and to...
Right. Well, we're going to talk about that with her in just a minute, but...
This control thing is two ways, man, and...
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that. Lawrence says he did write a 15-page letter airing his grievances about his future father-in-law, Doug. We're going to find out what the letter says and why it pushed Tiffany over the edge. We'll come back.
I wrote a letter to her grandma without Tiffany knowing, to let the family know what her father has been doing, who he is, how he has been hurting Tiffany. It was time for people to know what is going on in their lives.
And later...
Every move I make is wrong. Everything I say is wrong.
You are allowing this man to dictate your life to you.
I want him to stop. I want to be able to breathe.
Lawrence wants her family completely out of her life. We've had a few arguments before. I've come close many times to jump in my truck, drive down there, and put a good beating on him.
Well, that was Doug talking about his frustration with the way his future son-in-law treats his daughter. Now, Lawrence says he is determined to show Tiffany's family that he is right about not wanting Tiffany to be around certain people in her life. He wants to keep her away from those he thinks have and will hurt her. So he spent about a month writing a 15-page letter about how Doug manipulates and controls his daughter. Take a look.
Tiffany's not saying anything, doing anything to fix our lives. I wrote a letter to her grandma without Tiffany knowing, to let the family know what her father has been doing, who he is, how he has been hurting Tiffany. It was time for people to know what is going on in their lives. It was time for me and Tiffany to move forward without running from everything that she does not want people to know. It was 15 pages long, and it was brutal, and it was the truth. I'm writing you about Doug and his control, manipulation, and ego that is destroying the people around him, mainly Tiffany and I. It is becoming crystal clear that Doug is a sick and desperate man, desperate to regain his power and place within Debbie's family that he lost because of some issues in his life. It is also clear that we are not allowed to move forward in our life without him standing in our way and his ego being in control. It was so disturbing and sickening to see how manipulated and controlled by her father she really was. I put it on my dead son's soul that everything I said was the truth. I can no longer continue to enable horrible people my wife enables out of anxiety, out of misplaced loyalty. That's what it comes down to. It's misplaced loyalty.
Okay, so that's the letter. Those are excerpts from the letter. I have the 15-page handwritten, margin-to-margin, top-to-bottom letter here. And it's obvious that you put a lot of thought into this.
Yes, sir.
If I read this right, the upshoot here is all of you family members need to understand that Doug is one sick guy.
You know, and
that he is manipulative and controlling and is going to hurt her, and you wanted them to know that. Now, Liz is the one that Lawrence has described as being the one with her feet on the ground, the matriarch of the family. It was the one that he chose to present his 15-page diatribe to. But she did not respond to it the way that he wanted to. Liz is on the phone. Liz, you say you think this is an unhealthy relationship that she's in. Why do you think that?
Because I don't think she has room to grow. I don't think she can be the whole person she has the potential to be. When she left him for 6 weeks, she went to the community college, she studied, and she got her GED, which she hadn't been able to do in 7 years living with him. You know, when she's out from under his thumb, she does blossom and she does things. I don't think that it's that he doesn't love her. I just don't think he knows how to let her live and be a whole person.
Is there dysfunction in her history and her family history?
Well, certainly we're not perfect, and my daughter and my son-in-law are divorced.
Okay, we're going to talk to Tiffany's father, Doug. We're going to find out why his future son-in-law's behavior made him think he was in the witness protection program. And we are going to hear from Tiffany what she thinks, what she wants, and why. We'll be right back.
Lawrence is unhinged. He won't look me in the eye. Lawrence does have a temper, and he does own a handgun, and has made me nervous for my daughter and my grandson's safety.
And later,
I was under a different understanding about this show topic from the producers, and I...
oh, whoa. Okay, bring him out. What do you want?
I want to try and make this work. I want him to stop. I want to be able to breathe. I want to be able to go see my family without feeling like I'm betraying him.
Okay, you've had this relationship for 7 years.
Yes.
Okay, you have a child together. And I'm curious why in the world you are allowing this man or any woman, anybody, to dictate your life to you. Why are you doing that?
I don't know.
No, that's not an answer. What do you mean you don't know? You've had 7 years to think about this before you walked out here and sat down with me.
I guess in a way, I feel like I need it. I don't know how to do it on my own.
You don't know how to do what?
Be who I am. I don't know who I am anymore. It's been so long that I don't know who I am. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I could do it without Lawrence. It terrifies me, the fact that if I left him, I would be on my own.
The fact that you think you can't do it without Lawrence terrifies me. That terrifies me because that tells me that your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-confidence has been eroded to the point that you have no confidence in your ability to function in this world without somebody else helping you.
I want to be with him. I love him. He is a good man. He's a good father. There are good things about him. When it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's really bad.
You know, the number one tool of an abuser is isolation. Because if they cut their victim off from the world, from friends and family and clergy and just others, then they have the ability to start influencing and controlling. But if that person goes out and has lunch with a friend who says, well, my husband doesn't do that, and that's not healthy, that's not right, it could cause you to question it, and that disrupts the control of a controller when they get input from the outside. You're isolated. I went down and made a list. No car, that's isolation. Approving purchases, that's controlling you with money, that's isolation. No family contact, isolation. No contact with this friend, isolation. You can't tell anybody that you're pregnant. That's isolation.
Yes,
One person was her mother.
So how's this working for you as far as your peace of mind, your happiness, your self-worth and esteem? How's this working for you?
Not very well. My self-worth and esteem is gone.
So if 10 is, man, I can stand up and conquer the world, and 1 is, I'm scared to death of the world if somebody's not there to protect me, where would you put yourself?
Probably a 2 or a 3.
And if 10 is a wonderful, loving partnership of a relationship with mutual respect, and 1 is a parent-child situation where you don't really get to make choices, where would you put your relationship?
Probably a 2 or a 3.
Mm-hmm. How about you? Where would you put this relationship in terms of on a 1 to 10 scale?
Lately, I would say it's a 9. Since we got back together, we have everything except for communication. I mean, we...
No. You have everything.
No, I mean, I'm saying we rub each other's feet. I mean, she has, I mean, we literally, she will grab my shirt and kiss me. I mean, I'm saying we have passion and intimacy and love and, I mean, it hasn't been that long, but...
Okay, did you just hear her say it's a 2 or a 3?
Yeah,
I
See,
do
the
love
quality
you.
of a relationship is a function of how well it meets the needs of the two people involved.
And
If your needs are being met, you could rate it a 9. Listen. If your needs are being met, you could rate it a 9. If hers are not, she could rate it a 2. That's how you could be a 9 and she could be a 2, because your needs are getting met and her needs are not. You understand that?
And apparently, I'm the only one that thought that we were having a healthy relationship. I mean, man, this is really
what?
Hard.
Here's the email she wrote me. Please help.
Oh wow, everybody's laughing. This is good stuff, I guess.
You know why everybody's laughing? And that's their way of saying, "Oh my God." Here's the email she wrote me. Please help. Help. Please help. I've been in a relationship for 7 years with a man that hates my family. He goes into a rage about how I have the worst parents ever. I spent 3 years without even talking to my mother and kept the birth of our son a secret. I want out, but I don't know how. Help, please. Signed, Tiffany.
And the first time I found out about that, and I thought she was actually seeking help for the dysfunction on her side of the family, and I'm not perfect.
Yes, see?
Oh, wow.
The issues.
So you were just the bus driver?
Wow.
You were just going to drop her off?
No, I'm saying,
That's exactly how our counseling started, too. When we started group counseling, we went, and it was about fixing me.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Why do you think these guys are laughing?
Because I was under a different understanding about this show topic from the producers, and I...
Whoa. Okay, bring them out. Listen, you don't run that by me. I got the best staff in the history of television, and if you think for a second you're going to run that crap by me, that my producers call bait and switch on you, bring them out. Bring them out. We're going to find out whether you're telling the truth or trying to manipulate me, because...
I would never do that, Dr.
Yeah,
Phil.
no, you would try.
No, I wouldn't.
But
I'm here for help.
Well, I'm calling that bluff. All right, this is Jesse, who's the field person. Was there any confusion about what we were here for?
Not to me.
What was the understanding about what this show was about?
A controlling relationship between people who are apparently thinking about getting married, but whether the control issues lie more with the fiancé or with the family of Tiffany's family.
All right, and Amy Jo, step forward if you will. This is the senior producer. What was this show about from the beginning?
It was about controlling fiancés and whether or not you should move forward and get married if you are in that type of relationship.
Okay, was there any subterfuge about that at all?
No, not from the beginning. Everything was very clear. Every question we asked was about that particular topic.
Okay, so what part of this did you not understand? You said that, oh, wow, these guys, they misled me. Well, here's the two people right here.
Well, where's Christy?
Christy's right here.
Right here.
I said from the beginning that the show was going to be about your and Tiffany's relationships and the issue that you were having in particular with Doug.
Does it really matter? Don't we need help?
Yes, Tiffany, we need help big time.
Then let's do this.
Well, I thank you, Christy, Jesse, Amy Jo. I hate to digress, but when somebody accuses my staff of lying, I'll just trot them out and let them stand for themselves.
I didn't mean lying. I mean failure to communicate what I thought was going on here. Whew. Oh wow, everybody's laughing. This is good stuff.
You know why everybody's laughing? They're laughing because the outrageousness of your lack of insight and willingness to look at theirself. They're laughing. That's their way of saying, oh my God, this guy needs to calm down and recognize what's going on. They're not being disrespectful. This is exasperation on their part.
I just want her to make healthy decisions. I mean,
Well, the first way, let me tell you how you can help yourself. The first thing you can do is stop playing the victim, because it doesn't work with me anyway. You're like, oh, wow, look what's happening to me. I came here because she is from such a dysfunctional family, and all of the focus is on me. I can't imagine why it's on you, other than the fact that you're ranting and raving and hyperventilating and pounding your fist and just being completely irrational. You have some legitimate concerns that I share with you.
Thank you.
But the manner in which you are going about implementing what you consider to be protection,
I agree,
is not working, is it?
I agree.
She is so exasperated with you that she says she wants out. But she really doesn't. She just wants out from under the pressure. Because
pressure of letting the truth be known. I mean,
The pressure of not being good enough for you, feeling like I can't even move. Every move I make is wrong. Everything I say is wrong.
My daughter is in a toxic relationship. Lawrence is a nut. That boy seems to think that he is like Captain America, and he's the only one that's out there protecting the universe from the bad people. My daughter is in a toxic relationship. Lawrence wants to control her every move. He's verbally abusive. He's mentally abusive. Lawrence is a nut. That boy seems to think that he is like Captain America, and he's the only one that's out there protecting the universe from the bad people. And I'm one of the bad people. For many years, Lawrence would forbid Tiffany from letting anyone know where they're actually living. You would have to call Lawrence, and Lawrence would have to decide whether or not he's going to let you talk to her. So sometimes I would go 6 months without talking to her. And now I'm not allowed to visit my daughter or grandson at their own home. It's ridiculous. I'm a grown man, and I'll sit in my car a block away waiting to see his car leave so I can sneak in there and see my daughter and my grandson. Lawrence is unhinged. He won't look me in the eye. He will not come to my house. He will not talk to me. He avoids me at every turn. Lawrence does have a temper, and he does own a handgun, and has made me nervous for my daughter and my grandson's safety.
Okay, now, Doug was going to be on the phone. We told him when the show was. We told him what time it was, and he said, good, I'll do it. Then this morning, he said, well, I'm too busy. Which kind of goes
His
to
way.
Lawrence's point of view.
Thank you. I mean,
I know.
This looks very bad on my part. I understand it. I am not even going to deny that. But I have fought for Tiffany to make healthy decisions for herself, for us.
This has turned into a parent-child relationship. You don't want to be daddy.
I want a healthy partner, and I've never had that.
No, you've never had that, and you don't have it now. So what needs to happen here is you need to, number one, get some stress management skills. Because if you don't, you're just going to blow up. Okay? Listen to me.
I know. I am.
No, look at me.
I am over.
You come across like a Tasmanian devil. It's like, oh, wow, I can't believe it. Oh, my God. And that's not effective. You two need to negotiate a way that you can relax. You need to learn some of the things that he wants for you but is going about in the wrong way. So what I am going to suggest is that I arrange some very specialized counseling in 3 different ways. One, for you to get yourself under control so you're not so expansive and aggressive in your presentation.
Yeah.
And you, as a woman, to deal with some women's issues and find your place in this world. And then the 2 of you as a couple. Now, if I arrange and provide those things for you, will you do that?
Absolutely.
If I do that, will you do it?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, deal? All right. It's going to get so much better you won't believe it. All right, next, some past guests have a special message for, actually, my wife, Robin. We'll be right back. Well, Well, as you might know, my wife Robin is incredibly passionate about helping victims of domestic violence. She has been an integral part of this show since the beginning, and so many women have written in thanking Robin for inspiring them to make positive changes in their lives. You haven't seen this. Take a look.
Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's essential.
Robin is the connector, is the great connector.
He cannot hurt you out there. This is your chance. A lot of these boys are doing what they learn, what they live, and we want to stop it before it gets started. At 6 years old, your son will remember what is going on for the rest of his life. You had just broken up with your boyfriend,
Yes,
correct?
I had left him, yes, and told him it was over.
Safety first.
Hi, Robin. I wanted to express my gratitude for having me on the show and giving me the opportunity to share my story. Robin's genuine passion for helping others is contagious. Since the show, I've been inspired to take my negative experience and turn it into something positive. Thank you so much for all you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Robin, I would like to express my gratitude to you for your continued support to build a global platform to educate the public and help victims of domestic violence.
If a child came up and smacked you in the face, would you smack them back? Because you control your reaction. And there's no reason why you shouldn't control your reaction with her.
I would like to thank Dr. Phil and Robin for providing a platform for me to show my face for the first time. And more importantly, Robin's charity allowed me to pay for my first semester back in college.
I'm so happy you're here. Thank you.
Is this man going to kill you?
Yes, he said he will.
You're protected every second up there. You're protected.
She lies.
You don't deserve me.
Robin, how'd she do?
Oh, she just did a beautiful job. I teared up. I was just so proud of you.
When I came here to the set, I spoke to Robin.
Say exactly what you want to say to him.
I remember your words to this day. Don't falter. This is your time. So I thank you for everything inside.
Making a difference. Well, thank you. Well, just this season, Robin formed a foundation to help women and children affected by domestic violence, and it is called When Georgia Smiled.
I named the foundation after my mother because when I was growing up, my father was a wonderful man. I loved my father dearly, but he was an alcoholic and a compulsive gambler. And every day of my life growing up felt very out of control. I felt I just had a life of uncertainty. And I know that because of that, my mother had to feel very overwhelmed. And she never really put herself first. She never took care of herself because she was always thinking of us. And by that, she was always smiling. She always had a smile on her face. And that smile brought so much peace and such a feeling of safety to my life. And it was because of her smile that I named the foundation in her honor. My hope is to help women and children that are victims of domestic violence to live healthy, safe, and joy-filled lives.
Now, Robin launched When Georgia Smiled with two very important life-changing programs called the Aspire Initiative and the Aspire app.
We truly believe both of these initiatives are potentially life-saving and can be found at whengeorgiasmiled.org.
They are designed to educate women and young teens about domestic violence as well as preventing it before it ever starts.
We want these programs to reach as many people as possible, so they are free.
And Robin's foundation is just the beginning. For the past 3 years, she has also been tirelessly working on a purpose-driven lifestyle brand called Robin McGraw Revelation, which she launched with a skincare line just last week.
Yes.
I'm very excited about that for you.
Thank you. That's right. I am so proud of that. And to celebrate my launch, I have also created a lip gloss collection called Avery Lasting Love, which I'm so proud to say I named that after our granddaughter, Avery. We love her. And the first color being released in the line is named after Erica, our daughter-in-law, Jay's wife, and Avery's mother. So precious. And it's called The Erica.
And let me tell you why this is such a huge deal. 100% of the net profits from Robin's lip gloss line are being donated to When Georgia Smiled, which will directly help women and children who are victims of domestic violence. So it's such a worthy cause, and you can pitch in to help in this cause in so many ways. Log on to RobinMcGrawRevelation.com. You can do it right now to learn more about Robin's skincare line and how her lip gloss will go to help women and children in need.
And everyone is going home today with the Robin McGraw 30-day skincare kit. And every one of you get one of my Avery Lasting Love lip gloss.
All right. Good job. Thanks so much for being here.
Today on Dr. Phil.
Jim choked me, slammed me.
You know exactly how I'm going to react.
His rage is destroying their family.
You said that you do hit the kids, but I don't kick across the room.
Is he a bully?
I don't have a perfect memory of what happened.
Do you remember anything? Because everything I've asked you, I don't recall. I'm not sure.
Or do they both love the drama?
He'll punch you or hit you or slap you. 15 minutes later, you're cuddling up on the couch watching TV. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
5, 4.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Take a look at these pictures. They are photos of the bruises given to my desk, Caitlin, at the hand of her husband. She says she hasn't been able to wear shorts in over 3 years because she is always covered in black and blue marks. Caitlin says her husband Jim punches her, kicks her, and slaps her, throws her around like a rag doll on a regular basis. It has gotten so bad, she says she is scared not only for her life, but for the life of her children.
I couldn't tell you how many times Jim's punched me, kicked me, slapped me, choked me, slammed me, thrown things at me. When it gets really bad, he throws me around like a rag doll. If you picture a dog with a chew toy shaking his head, that's pretty much what it's like. I'm afraid that he could actually kill me or my kids. He usually just hits me in the arms and legs. Some of the bruises that I have is this one from him punching me. You can see where his fingers were. And I have one on my leg that's actually really bad. In the summer, I wear long sleeves and pants. I always keep covered up. He'll tell me that it's my fault because I made him do it. While I was pregnant, there was violence in the relationship. He'd slam me against walls, pin me down. His child is in my stomach, and it would still happen all the time. I'm kind of just like a punching bag for the most part. There was one time I was cleaning, and I moved the console for his game, and I guess it shut off, and he snapped. That's when he pulled the shotgun and had it in my face and said he was gonna blow my head off. I truly believe that he was capable of killing me that day. 20 minutes to a half hour after we have the blowout, and we're sitting there cuddled up watching a movie, or I'm making him dinner and doing his laundry and acting like nothing ever happened. I know it's crazy. Basically, our relationship is perfect if I don't have any feelings. But if I have even the slightest bit of emotion, like I don't like that you did that, it's hell.
You wonder why I get so mad. Because you don't shut the
I'm the one covered in the bruises, but he's the one who wants to act like it never happened.
Well, Caitlin's husband, Jim, admits that he has a hot temper. But he says, let me tell you, Caitlin is no shrinking violet, and it is her that antagonizes him to the point that he says he has no other choice but to put his hands on her.
Caitlin manipulates me a little bit. She knows what buttons to push. She manages to find a way to get under my skin in such a way that my rage gets the best of me. I do have a hint sometimes that she's doing it to try and get a response out of me.
I don't care what you say, I'm not stupid.
What she's looking for is me to lose my temper, start screaming and yelling or throwing things. I have my fair share of issues with rage. I have for a long time, since I was a kid. Over the last few years, I've sought help to, try and control it. But I am human. I do lose it every once in a while. Generally, there'll be an argument first.
You're either deaf or you don't care.
Rage gets going, I try and walk away. You know, she doesn't want me to leave the room, and that's when things generally get physical. She put her whole body in front of me to keep me from leaving. Other times I'll walk to the other side of the room and just breathe and relax, but those bad days I'll grab her by her waist and throw her out of the doorway. It'll get physical. I mean, I'm not going to say it won't. If I wasn't put on the defensive from the start, 90% of the time, things would probably go a lot smoother. She knows what she's doing when she comes at me a certain way.
You know exactly how I'm going to react every time.
She knows what certain topics are going to set me off.
You just keep going and going and going and going and going.
With the exception of really recently, I've never closed fist punched her in the face. It generally starts out as more wrestling where I'm trying to hold her down and, you know, get her to calm down. And then I'll have her on the floor, I'll have her arms in one hand and, you know, her legs in my other hand, and then she'll break a leg free and kick me or break a hand free and smack me. You can only hit somebody in the face so many times and expect not to get hit back.
I'm sorry I'm not perfect, and I still up once in a while.
Screwed up as this may be, if she's going to try and punch me in the face and fight me like she's a man, then I'm not going to sit back and just be a punching bag. Caitlin wrestled for 4 years in high school. Don't let her fool you by her sweet, you know, demeanor. She can throw down. She's not one to just curl up in a ball and take a beating. Over the years, she's probably hit me in the face, you know, I can count at least 8 or 9 times. Not unprovoked, obviously, but she kicked me in the ribs once. Broke a couple of my ribs. She kicked me off the bed. I rolled my ankle. She was a fireball. The cycle of fighting has been the same thing for the last 5 or 6 years. Nothing's changed. Same fight, different day.
Jim, let me ask you, do you consider yourself to be a generally angry person?
No.
So as far as just going through life in general, how would you describe your attitude of going through life?
Pretty relaxed. I'm not, I'm easily provoked, I guess, but for the most part, I try to stay as quiet and relaxed as possible.
You're easily provoked just by her or by other people?
Mostly her.
You know, according to Caitlin, I mean, here's what she says, that Jim hits her on a regular basis, at least 2 times a week, pulls her hair, smacks her, throws her through doors, abuses her in front of the children, pulled a gun on her when she accidentally pulled the plug on his video game, threw her through a wall, caused a hole big enough for 5 people to fit through, tried to push her out of the car when she was 6 months pregnant, slammed her head down on the concrete during a fight, pinned her down, causing her to sprain her wrist, constantly causing bruises on her body that she has to cover up, goes through the phone, cheats, flirts, and ruins cars in anger. That's her list.
Okay.
Is she right? Is she wrong?
Some of the things aren't, you know, the thing with the gun, that's not, I mean, there was a 3.5-hour argument in which I tried to leave the house several times.
Did you pull a gun on her?
At one point, yeah.
Why? What, were you going to shoot her?
No. I wasn't going to kill her. I was trying to get her to get out of my way so I could leave before things got any worse, before I got physically violent.
But you pulled a gun on your wife?
Yes.
How does that sound when it's said back to you?
The same as it did when I did it. I'm not proud of it. I'm ashamed of it.
Those were her allegations. You admit that you punch her, choke her, push her, throw her on the ground, and restrain her. You admit that you pushed her down and caused a miscarriage.
Yep.
Why is that okay with you?
When I'm in therapy back home, I have been for the last few years to try and control this.
He says that you yell, that you nag, you push his buttons, won't let him walk away if he tries to walk away. He says you start fights by bringing up the past, that you hit and slap him in the face. You don't listen when he tells you, look, let me calm down, that you're unappreciative of what he does, that he supports you, pays the bills. You're unaffectionate, no sex. You snoop in his phone, you get upset about the fact that he watches porn and just basically doesn't mind your own business.
At first it wasn't just like, oh, it was okay, he watches porn, he's a guy. But then it turned to, it would happen so many times a day, he'd have no interest in me anymore. And then it evolved from porn to websites and looking up people locally. That it says that they're within like 0.5 miles of where we live.
You think the porn thing is actually okay?
As opposed to the other option, yeah, I guess. I mean, one of the things I'm trying to work on in therapy. as opposed to going out and cheating on her with somebody. I don't want to say it sounds like a better option, but I mean, that's what it seems like.
Okay, some of the ideas that these two have about what's okay, we need to talk about. We're going to take a break. Jim says he's a very private person, so if that's true, why is he here? We're going to find out why he decided to come and try and get some help from me. We'll be right back.
My wife and my mother would both sit there and, I don't even think you understand how scary you are when you get like that. You're an animal, you're a monster. I don't back down from a fight. I never have. I don't take from anybody.
On our wedding day, he looked at me and said he understands why I've always been treated like and I'm going to end up getting beat for the rest of my life because that's all I deserve. At this point, I was 7 months pregnant with our son.
Our wedding day was honestly a pretty memory, most of it.
As a kid, you think of your wedding day as this big special day, and what I got was pretty atrocious. I have no pictures. We have no memories. I never got a wedding ring from him. The ring that I had on my hand the day we got married was fake. It actually turned my hand green. He looked at me and told me the only reason he married me was for health insurance for our son.
This is what she says that you said to her on your wedding day. Quote, I understand why you've been treated like and you're going to get beaten for the rest of your life. Get your and get your ass in the car.
I don't have a perfect memory of what happened. I know that day was a bad day.
You said we got married at my cousin's house, and I got into a bad mood that day, and it just carried out through our marriage.
I wouldn't say that.
You did say that.
No, I said that I had a bad day that day. I started out having to work, finding out that we were getting married that afternoon when the minister was available to do it. I had to leave work, rush home, get everything together. I mean, not the way a wedding should have gone, no. Yeah, I did say things to her. Yeah, I did say that.
But what was your goal in saying that? You don't do something without a purpose, without a goal. What was it?
I don't think I had a goal. I was upset. I mean,
well, was your goal to vent your anger? Was your goal to hurt her?
Yeah,
was your what?
To
I mean,
blow off steam.
We don't do anything for no reason.
Right. Yeah, to relieve some of my anger, I guess.
Well, Jim says he is angry. He says several people in his life have told him just how scary he gets when he loses his temper. They say he turns into a monster. Take a look.
He punches holes in walls. He's broken desks. He snapped keyboards in half. Jim has had to replace at least 10 to 15 doors. How many holes in the walls have we had to fix? How many doors have we had to replace?
Growing up, a lot of the memories I do have are my parents fighting. My father, we had a pretty violent temper. I can remember a couple instances of my father went after my mother, and she was back down in the corner of the room trying to cover herself to keep from getting hit, and I feel like that's had an effect on me. In 6th grade, I got put in anger management for the first time. I don't back down from a fight. I never have. I don't take from anybody. If you're going to come at me with a hostile attitude and disrespect me, it's a good chance you're going to get punched in the mouth. My temper has cost me more than anything else has in my entire life. I've lost jobs over it. I punched a $1,000 microwave and broke it to pieces. My wife and my mother would both sit there and, I don't even think you understand how scary you are when you get like that. You're an animal, you're a monster, nobody can control you, nobody can say anything to you. That's not a good thing.
I am so full of rage because, finish that sentence.
I don't know.
That's not finishing the sentence. That's starting another sentence. Finish that one. I am so full of rage because.
I don't have an answer. I really don't.
Why do you not walk away? I'm not trying to say it's your responsibility. There is no theory under which a man should ever put his hands on a woman in anger, period, paragraph. I don't care what she's doing, what she's saying, what she's calling you, under any theory. If you have to knock out a window and run into the woods, you do it before you hit a woman. And I want you to get that clear from me because I don't want you winding up in jail. And you will if you keep this up, trust me. But why you're not stupid. You know what the pattern is here. You know when you engage him what's going to happen. You know when he says, leave me alone, I want to get out of here, and you say, no, 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 we're going to talk about this, talk about it, talk about it. You know where it's going. What are you getting out of that?
Sometimes we'll get the resolution to a problem. Other times, it'll just get my frustration out for the fact that he's just not listening.
Have you two gotten to where you thrive on this drama?
Oh, I can't stand it.
You two have an unusual normal, because you'll get into these huge rows and you say he'll punch you or hit you or slap you, and then 10 or 15 minutes later you're sitting on the couch cuddling up watching TV.
Kind of.
Well, no, that's what you said. I mean,
Well, yeah, well,
you both keep giving. When I have things in quotes, it's because I heard them on a recording and typed them out. They are your words.
well, yeah.
I don't just make
I'm
this
not
up.
saying it's not my words.
It
I'm saying,
is.
Yeah.
That's what you said. This will blow up. I'll get hit, kicked,
And then I'll
shoved,
make him dinner.
scratched, and then you'll make dinner and curl up on the couch.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Let's take a break. When we come back, find out what Caitlin says Jim did to her while she was sleeping that made her so disgusted she could not speak. We'll be right back.
If I'm watching porn, I don't understand where there's a problem. I'm not getting it home. I could be out sleeping around, but I'm not.
He will sit there and tell me that it's my fault because I'm not paying enough attention to him. We split for 6 months. I dated somebody and he dated somebody. And then I just recently found out that he was continuing to see her once we resumed our marriage, and we were having sex and sleeping in the same bed.
Since we've got back together, the intimacy isn't there. She feels that that's going to complicate things between us.
We have no sex life. I refuse.
Well, that was Jim and Caitlin talking about their non-existent sex life. Caitlin says Jim is addicted to porn, watches it constantly on his phone, computer, and tablet. Now, Caitlin also says Jim talks to other women online, but Jim says he isn't really cheating because he would never actually meet up with anyone. Take a look.
Jim is addicted to porn. He takes it to an extreme level. He will watch it in the living room, the bathroom, the bedroom. He has done it on his lunch breaks at work. He has driven and parked somewhere just to do it.
If I have a problem and I can't control it,
He will sit there and do it right next to me while I'm sleeping.
she doesn't agree with it. She thinks that's essentially cheating on her. She went through my phone when I was sleeping and she found porn on my phone. I've been woken up out of a dead sleep to what the is this?
He had watched porn on the tablet. There are games on there for our daughter, and she comes running up to me saying, "Mommy, Mommy, boobies." And I look down, and there's an active porn video playing, and my daughter just saw a whole bunch of very nasty things.
If I'm watching porn, I don't understand where there's a problem. I'm not getting it home. I could be out sleeping around, but I'm not.
He also does adult dating sites. He would have a profile saying that his wife's just not good enough.
I don't think that I really felt I was doing anything wrong because I never meet up with anybody.
He would take a picture of his private areas, put them online, and tell me that I made him do it. And I believed him.
Okay, now, given the history here, are y'all puzzled about why you don't have a sexual relationship?
No.
I mean,
I get
you don't want to like get punched and then go hop in bed, right? I mean, that's not consistent.
Yeah, it's
that
more than
flow.
just physical. He would sit there and call me fat or something, and there was one day that he told me that stretch marks are disgusting. And I've had 2 kids. So when I started getting them with my daughter, I freaked out, and then he'd get upset if I didn't want to have sex with him 4 hours later.
What is this video he took of himself when you were asleep?
I told him that I was in pain because I had a car accident in May, so I took a muscle relaxer and I went to sleep, and then the next morning he showed me a video of him doing things in my face while I was sleeping.
What was your thinking there? How did take me through the moment where that seemed like a good idea?
Some kind of sick joke, I guess. I don't have any answer to that question. There was obviously no thought there.
But then you went to bed, you slept, you woke up the next morning and decided, I'll show her this.
I don't think that's quite how it went down. Let's see if I remember correctly.
Do you remember anything? Because everything I've asked you, I don't recall. I'm not sure.
I have a bad
I'm in
memory.
therapy.
I have a very poor memory. I don't know if it's something that can be diagnosed. I don't have a good memory.
Take me through the moment you showed her that video.
Well, we got into an argument about how we weren't intimate, I believe, and then, you know, like an asshole trying to, with that smart mouth of mine, I said, hey, look, you know, look at this. And I handed her the phone.
So you wanted to hurt her at that point?
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
You wanted to get back at her. You wanted to...
Yeah, revenge, I guess.
And how did you react when you watched that video?
Tears came to my eyes. I felt disrespected. I felt like nothing.
What did you say to him?
I don't really think I said anything. I just kind of threw the phone back on the bed and just walked away. And just said I couldn't believe that.
What did y'all talk about next after that? Because I was kind of thinking that would really like dry up the conversation. I don't know.
We didn't talk for a
how do
few
you
hours.
start another conversation after?
We didn't.
Pass the butter? What do you...
I can't stand the silence and the anger lingering, so I usually just...
So you get degraded in that fashion, and so you pout for a while, or you're silent for a while, and then the next thing you say is, you want some lunch?
Pretty much. It's...
Caitlin and Jim have a 1-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. And yeah, they're audience to a lot of this. We'll talk about that after the break.
I have seen Jim hit both of the kids. The first time he ever put his hands on my daughter was when she was about 6 months old, and he smacked her, and she had fingerprint welts on her wrist. Our son is almost as afraid of their father as my daughter is.
The last thing I want to come home to was 2 kids screaming and yelling. My father was pretty stern when he told you to do something. That was it. You either did it or you get the consequences.
I have seen Jim hit both of the kids. The first time he ever put his hands on my daughter was when she was about 6 months old, and he smacked her, and she had fingerprint welts on her wrist.
Caitlin's worried that I'm getting too rough with the discipline.
I've lost my mind. I've slammed him against the wall. I've told him to leave and come back whenever he can calm down and be a real father. Now, he says mean things to her. He says, quit being a brat. He swears at her so much. She's afraid of him.
The last thing I want to come home to was 2 kids screaming and yelling and crying, and then, you know, my wife being pissed off.
Our son is almost as afraid of their father as my daughter is. He smacked him in the back of the head, and then he kind of slammed him down on his butt. I have seen him grab him and go like that, like get his attention, and I'm like, don't you dare. If you try to give our children a high five, they both go like this, and our daughter will actually start crying and run away. I think it's disgusting. If Dr. Phil truly doesn't believe that it's going to be a safe environment, whether Jim gets help or not, that's it. I'm done.
Are you concerned about the kids observing all this?
Of course.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is it affecting the children?
Most definitely.
You gave us some examples where we know it is. The 2-year-old called her grandmother a bitch. She heard that somewhere. She says that your son cowers in fear as if he's going to be hit if someone tries to give him a high five. She was just talking about that. Have you observed that?
No. I've never seen him cower. If I raise my voice, my daughter will put her hands over her head and kind of crouch down. Yeah.
Is your daughter afraid of you?
If I'm raising my voice or yelling, yeah.
You said that you do hit the kids, but, quote, I don't kick across the room. She says that you've smacked her on the back of the head, that you've grabbed her so hard it leaves whelps and bruises. Is that true or false?
Once that I can remember, yeah.
She says you fling your son around like a rag doll and spanks him and, quote, makes retard sounds mocking son.
You've definitely done that. Don't deny that. And that hurts, especially because there was concern if our son is autistic.
Well, Caitlin and Jim live with his mother. We're going to find out why she defends Jim's behavior. Sort of. We'll talk to her right quick when we come back. Well, Jim and Caitlin currently live with Jim's mother, who feels like she is stuck in the middle between the two of them. Caitlin says she hates living there. Take a look.
We live with Jim's mom. I've been saying we need to move out for 5 years straight. She is very controlling and manipulative.
Caitlin and my mother haven't got along from the beginning.
She curses at me like a drunken sailor.
She's not in good health, but she's still a Spitfire. She has no issues, telling me this is my house. You're not going to dictate how my life is. You don't like it, there's the door, get the out.
She's called me a pig, a loser. Jim's mother has emphysema and she's on oxygen. She would tell me that she couldn't stand me and that she couldn't wait for her son to take the kids out of the house so she could blow the house up with me in it. She's smoking next to a free-flowing pure oxygen tank and it says highly flammable and explosive on it.
They argue and fight constantly. They pretty much hate each other's guts. If they could get away with murder, they would kill each other and not think twice about it. I don't want to go home and get dragged in the middle of that. I just assume sleep in my car where peace and quiet and get a good night's sleep.
Well, Donna is actually on the phone right now because I added her to the conversation because I want as much insight into what's going on as possible. Donna, are you there?
Yes, I am, Dr. Phil.
Okay, now, you're living in the middle of a war zone, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this is your house?
Yes.
Now, I read everything that you said, and you don't really defend Jim's behavior. You think that he is angry and volatile, but you think Caitlin does antagonize him, correct?
There are times when she keeps pushing and pushing, and there have been times when he's tried to walk away, and she wouldn't let him.
But you also said they were equally accountable.
Yes, they are.
Why do you think your son, let's take Caitlin out of it, because he didn't just get angry when he met her, correct?
No, he's had a temper.
Why do you think he's so angry?
I don't know. I know he's had, there have been a lot of losses in his life. I know that he, as a kid, while he says, his father was so hard and everything else, his father did a lot for him and spoiled him, and my parents spoiled him, and all of his grandparents were in his life daily, and everyone would try to make it easy for him, so I don't know if he learned the appropriate level of frustration as a kid. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Then Caitlin comes along, and this gets volatile.
Yes,
and
it has been from the beginning.
You don't get along with her either, right?
No. And one of the very first times when Caitlin was there, she said to me that I am not her mother and I can't tell her what to do.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Well, she's right. You're not her mother, but she is living in your house. But what's your dream outcome here, Donna? What would you like to see happen?
My dream outcome would be that whether they stay together or they live apart, that they somehow put their animosity aside to be good parents to those kids.
Donna, last question. Are you concerned about the impact on your grandchildren?
Of course I am.
You recognize...
I don't want them to grow up thinking that this is normal.
Yeah, me neither. Okay, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to tell Caitlin and Jim what I think they need to do for themselves and for the sake of these two young children. I'm going to get very specific. You're not going to have to guess at what I think needs to happen here, okay? We'll be right back.
Dr. Phil could save my life because I am truly giving up. This is it. This is the last bit of effort I can put into it.
I want to be happy. I want to go back to when she and I first got together, before all the arguing and the fighting. The biggest reason I'm doing this is my kids. I come from a home where things weren't great, and I've seen what it's done to me. I don't want them to grow up the same way I grew up.
I am here for my kids. Just because I can take it doesn't mean they should have to. I chose to be with Jim. They didn't choose who their father was. I did.
These children deserve better. And if you are hitting these children, if you are being physical with these children, you're violating the law. And Child Protective Services, Department of Child and Family Services, will get involved. And if they came in and did a home study right now, I predict they would remove these children from the house. I predict that they would. And let me tell you straight up, I'm what's called a mandated reporter. So once I become aware of this, I have to either know that there's a plan in place for change to protect these children, or I have to report it. So one way or other, this has to stop. What do you want?
To be happy.
But my dog wants to be happy. What do you want?
I want to have a good life, not be miserable, have my kids around, see my kids grow up and be happy.
Do you want to stop this legacy?
Yes.
Because you grew up with it, you've carried it forward, and now you're putting it on him.
It's got to stop. It has to. I'm not going to ruin my son over it.
But you are. It's not too late. It's never too late. You can change this right now. Every situation needs a hero, and it can be you in this situation. You got to wake up every day and figure out a way that that little boy and that little girl think they won the daddy lottery. You need to not be living in your mother's house. You probably don't need to be living together right now because you cannot keep the peace, and you are abusing these children by putting them in the middle of a war zone like this, and that needs to stop. You have one mission in this life, and that is protect and nurture those children. You're not doing that in this situation where you're yelling and screaming. You're not doing your job, Mom. I have some ideas about what needs to happen here. You two people need to focus on yourselves, and I am going to help you to do that. We're going to talk about that when we're finished here, okay? If we put some plans in place to change this, will you immerse yourself in it?
Yes.
You will.
100%.
And you will.
Yes.
And you realize this has to stop.
Yeah.
And I got to be comfortable that there's a plan in place.
I've been watching your show for years just to get the tips to do it myself, but...
Yeah, well, it doesn't speak much for my show because you...
It did work. Some of it did work. But then he wouldn't listen to me. He said,
How about you? You been watching?
Recently.
That's why he agreed to come
That's
here,
why
is
I
because he actually
agreed to come
believed
out.
it, because all the things that I'd been saying I got from your show, he saw you say for yourself, like the pancake thing. No matter how flat you smush a pancake, there are always two sides.
I see what you mean. She can be really irritating. We're going to talk about this and put a plan in place, okay? All right. When we come back, a really big announcement, so big I need my wife Robin's help. As you know, she has made it her mission to support women just like Caitlin who are in violent situations in their home. That's why it's so very important for you to stick around. We'll be right back. As you all know, my wife, Robin, is passionately involved in advocating for women and children. So much so that last year she created When Georgia Smiled, a foundation which helps women and children who are affected by domestic violence, just like my guest Caitlin today and her little ones. Now, Robin has also been working tirelessly on developing her new purpose-driven lifestyle brand, Robin McGraw Revelation, and I am so proud to say she successfully launched the first product, a skincare line, last week. Now, it was really great. Now, the name of Robin's brand, Revelation, has a real significance to her.
28 years ago, I was just on a normal phone call with my mother, and she said, "I feel funny." And little did I know that when she said that, it would be her last breath she would ever take. And shortly thereafter, it was actually Philip that came to me and said, "She's gone." And I remember looking at him saying, "There's no way, she's not gone." He said, "I'm sorry, she's gone." And she was only 58 years old. And I said, "Philip, she's never been sick a day in her life. She's never even been to the doctor." And it was right then when I said that I had a revelation. I had a revelation. I thought, oh, she's never even been to the doctor. And you know why? She never took care of herself. She never put herself first. It was always about me, my brother, my sisters, my father. It was about everyone else she loved except herself. She always put herself last because I think she felt it was selfish. So my revelation that day was I was going to do everything I could to take care of myself so I could put myself at the top of the list, so I could make myself the healthiest I could be every day, so I could take care of this man, and I could take care of my boys and all of the people I love, and I could live a long, healthy life, much longer than my mother. Like I said, she was only 58 years old. She died of undiagnosed heart disease. And so I named it Revelation. Because of her, I feel like I am the healthiest I can be.
There's a secret ingredient that really makes your skincare line unique, right?
Yes, it is. So when I set out to make my skincare line, the first product launched under this lifestyle brand, I said to the team of experts that I think are brilliant, I want something exclusive to the skincare line. I want to be able to give this to the women out there because it is my goal to inspire these women to have their own revelation. I want all women to believe that they deserve to put themselves first. So we came up with an exclusive ingredient called the Floracell Complex. And I have to tell you, I found the start of this exclusive ingredient in a flower called the Edelweiss. Now this flower you might recognize from The Sound of Music. And it grows in the Swiss Alps. And a little secret, I tested everything on him.
I know. Yeah, I'm like a lab rat because I've got a lot of, I have a high forehead, I admit it.
Yes, he was a very willing subject. But let me tell you, I really wanted to make this simple. I am starting with 5 products. But the first 3 is a 3-step program. Cleansing, scrubbing, and hydration. Because I think those are 3 very important steps for a woman's skin.
Now, if you at home want to experience just what Robin is talking about, you can go to RobinMcGrawRevelation.com, where you can find these amazing products and much, much more. So you'll see it all right there.
And I also want to announce that I have a brand new lip gloss collection to celebrate the launch of this skincare line, and I cannot wait for everyone to try it. It's just beautiful. It has a very high shine to it. The colors are all of my favorite. In fact, I'm wearing one today. What I really love is I named this lip gloss collection Avery Lasting Love. And I think you know Avery is our granddaughter. Oh God, look at her. So yes, it's a collection with 4 colors. I've named each color the Erica, I'm wearing that today, the Elizabeth, the Georgia, and the May.
The first one you're releasing is Erica, right?
The first one, yes.
Okay,
Erica.
and I don't know much about lip gloss, but what I do know about is that I'm proud to announce that 100% of the net profits from Robin's lip gloss line are being donated to When Georgia Smiles, which will directly help those affected by domestic violence. But I do have one more announcement, and that is that everybody in the audience is going home with Robin McGraw Revelation 30-Day Skincare Kit.
Is getting one of my Avery Lasting Love lip glosses.
Now, if you at home want to help those in need, go to RobinMcGrawRevelation.com for more information, as well as information about how to purchase the new skincare line and her Avery Lasting Love lip gloss. And I'm so glad about that lip gloss because that funds shelters and helps with women. So it's 100% of the profits, right?
100%.
Great. All right, listen, I want to thank all of my guests today. And if you or someone you know is the victim of domestic violence, please pick up the phone and call National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Guys, obviously this is not working. There is a program in Tennessee called On-Site, and this is a retreat that you can either attend individually or as a couple. And I want to make that offer to the two of you as our gift to you. You need to call Time Out and get an intensive program where you can truly learn to be okay with yourselves and as a couple. I think it will change the course of your family.
Today on Dr. Phil, he calls his ex a deadbeat mom.
He says I'm a criminal. He has compared me to Casey Anthony.
Do you take pleasure in calling the police on her?
Of course not. I'm fighting on my kids' behalf.
Tell me how that helps your children.
Can they discuss their problems
I have no agenda.
Oh, of course you don't.
like mature adults?
I'm asking a question, and you two infantiles start rolling your eyes. Are you kidding me? Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Pretty free. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. Okay, now I want you to do something for me. Take a look at the following emails. Pay your child support like the judge told you, as you are formally a criminal now. Child support is one obligation you can't elude, as you have never been known to pay your bills. The courts and I are in hopes that you would improve your conduct regarding these simple matters that reflect your unwillingness to co-parent. Now, while most people would assume these emails were sent by a bitter woman to an ex-husband behind in his child support, it's actually the opposite. In today's case, it is a self-admitted angry father who is blasting his ex-wife and accusing her of being a deadbeat mom. Take a look.
Ever since my divorce 5 years ago, I have endured mental and emotional abuse from my ex-husband, Jared. Jared and I just completed a year-long custody battle over our 2 children. Jared was awarded primary custody. I think that my ex-husband has lied in court in order to gain custody of the children.
My ex-wife is a deadbeat mother. She has told me that she has no intentions on paying her child support.
I am required by a court ruling to pay Jared child support, $150 a month.
She's 6 months behind on her child support. She's only paid $50 towards the total balance.
I currently am a stay-at-home mom. I don't make any money. Jared's average pay ends up being about $94,000 a year. Jared has said that I don't help the children with their homework, that I don't spend time with them, and that I'm abusive to them. In text messages and emails, Jared has called me whore, slut, bitch, idiot, loser, homewrecker. Jared twice has compared me to Casey Anthony. He is saying that I'm a criminal and that he thinks I'm getting away with murder. I believe that my children are unfairly caught up in the middle of a bad divorce.
This can't continue to go on. Something has to change.
I feel like Jared is the devil and that I'm in a spiritual warfare with him. I think he would be happy if I was dead, and I honestly think that Jared wants to destroy my life.
What's your agenda for being here today? What's your goal?
My goal is for the kids to have a great relationship with their mother, to feel loved, to feel wanted, and to feel supported within their household.
And what are you willing to do to make that happen?
I'm willing to do whatever it takes for the sake of my 2 kids.
Are you willing to be honest today, even if it's unbecoming to you?
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to put that to the test in a minute. What's your goal in being here today?
I want the fighting and the name calling and the constant insults and motivation to feel like he's constantly trying to destroy me. I want to co-parent with him. I want my children to have both their parents and to have somewhat of a normal existence and normal life.
Let me tell you the way this works. We get tens of thousands of letters here. I mean, you can imagine. I mean, tens of thousands of letters here. And producers bring me stories, and they say, okay, we would like to do this one, and we'd like to do this one. And they brought me this story and gave me the, the top line information. And I looked at it, and I said, oh, hell no. I was looking at the emails going back and forth, and I thought, I'd rather have a root canal. Why would I purposely subject myself to this?
I don't know.
And they said, well, let me tell you why. There are 3 children who are getting a root canal every day in this. And so they talked to me about that and who all's caught up in the middle of this. That's why I'm here. Do you call her all of these names? Before you answer, remember we made a commitment to be honest.
Most of the things I do say, but I don't wish for her to be dead. I don't wish for the kids to not be a part of their mom's lives.
Then why do you say that?
I don't compare her to a murderer.
Then why did you say that?
I didn't. Some of those things are very true.
Jared has called his wife some nasty names in countless emails, and I've got a stack of these things. Actually,
yeah.
I do my homework, and I mean, you guys are prolific typers. You go back and forth, and the things that, unless somebody's hijacked your account, you have called her slut, liar, bitch, whore, moron, idiot, trash, con artist, thief, worthless, and Casey Anthony, to name a few. Those are some pretty harsh things to call the mother of your children. I mean, I understand she's your ex-wife. You're talking about the mother of your children.
When you have nonstop, daily nonsense that is obviously painful to your children, and you get to the point that you get so frustrated that common sense to a degree goes out the window, and you take off the gloves, and you really start to get defensive, but it's all on the behalf of my children.
What is it that you're hoping to accomplish on behalf of your children by calling the woman who gave them birth a slut? How does that, tell me how that helps your children.
It's, like I said, you get to a point...
No, I didn't ask you about what drove you to it. When you say it, you said, I'm doing this on behalf of my children. What is your hoped-for outcome? Are you wanting to hurt her? You're wanting to inflict pain on her? You're wanting to demean her? Take her self-esteem down?
I just want to let her know that I'm still fighting. I'm not giving up.
You think calling her trash lets her know that I'm just saying this to you so you know I'm a dedicated father?
Like I said, it's an illogical response on my behalf, and I take responsibility for that.
So you really have no defense of it?
No.
Okay, and you know why? Because it's indefensible.
Correct.
What children want is to go to their birthday party and not feel like they're a rope in a tug-of-war. They don't want to feel guilty if they're talking to her because you're hurt. They don't want to feel guilty because they're talking to you because she looks lonely. They don't want to be feeling like they can't move or they can't stand still because they don't know what to do. That's what they don't want to feel like. And so that's where they're trying to get. And when you two behave the way you're behaving, they pay for it, which makes me know you're behaving selfishly and piously telling me you care about the children, and that's wrong. Because if you did, you'd be putting their interest ahead of your own instead of doing what you're doing. So you can tell me what you want to tell me, but that's not right. Besides the name calling, Jared has also contacted the police 4 times during the past 5.5 years regarding Chandra. Now, we're going to look at that tape, and then we're going to talk about your behavior. But let's take a look at this tape.
Jared has called the police on my husband 3 times.
I went to the police on 4 different occasions and filed 2 formal police reports.
Jared filed a complaint that Jason was yelling at the children. Another time, Jared filed a complaint that Jason had tried to attack him on our porch.
Things over the years have gotten so bad that I have requested that we meet at the police station to pick up the kids.
He wants my marriage to fail, and he wants to take my children from me.
Has this really risen to the level that we need to get the police involved?
Absolutely.
Really, you think?
Yes.
You think you have to have armed officials involved to control her?
I do. It needs to be under camera.
Yeah.
And I need to feel that I'm not going to be put in a trick bag.
It's ridiculous.
Or backed into a corner.
Yeah. So you feel like you need troops?
I need a witness in most cases.
Mm-hmm. So you're calling the police on the mother of your children? A lot, frequently.
He wants me to go to jail.
She has called
He's already said that. He says that weekly.
She has called the police on me as well. Mm-hmm. In fact, very recent.
But do you take pleasure in calling the police on her?
Of course not.
Because you kind of seem like you do, because you seem kind of smug and pious. I mean, you kind of come across that way. That's just my opinion. Maybe it's just the way you are today. Maybe you're not that way with her all the time. But I mean, does it give you pleasure when you see her, cops on her porch and
I live in fear. I literally live in fear that I'm going to get arrested and thrown in jail. I don't think he cares. I think that's where he wants me. He says I'm a criminal. He says I'm a murderer. Obviously, that's where he thinks I belong.
Do you?
No. I love my children. I want peace.
Well, I said there's 2 sides to this, and I was going to take a look at Chandra's side. Well, let's do that next, because trust me, there's plenty on that side of this ledger, too. We'll be right back.
How long am I supposed to ignore that type of talk towards me for 5 years? I do feel like a victim in the situation. I feel like he's trying to destroy me.
And later...
I hate who I've become in this. I hate this. This is not who I am. I did not imagine this would have ever been this way.
Some of the text messages that Jared has been sending to me, he said, "Oh, we look forward to court. You may be arrested as you're a felon now, not paying your child support. Worthless, you can't be trusted with anything, terrible wife. You sucked the life out of me. I was miserable being married. One day the kids will cut off all communication with you. I don't want Jason to influence my kids any further. He's a monster and you're a fool. Enjoy. How hilarious you are, deadbeat mom. Now I wanted criminal."
Well, Chandra says she is accused of being a deadbeat mother by her ex-husband, Jared. Are you supposed to pay child support?
Yes, I was.
Are you paying it?
I'm paying what I can. I have not paid much, and I am behind.
So you're not paying it?
I'm not paying it, no. I'm paying. I've made payments, but I am not caught up. I am behind. And I went back to court to have it adjusted as he had not correctly reported his income and had lied about paying for child care. And when he actually wasn't having any child care at all. And so I was able to go back to court and get that reduced to half a month.
Mm-hmm. And you're not paying that?
I'm paying what I can, Dr. Phil.
But you're not paying it. The court ordered you to pay.
Yes, I understand that I can be held in contempt of court. I understand I can't go to jail.
Well, you are in contempt of court.
Yes, I am.
If they ordered you to pay it and you're not paying it, you are in contempt of court. Why are you not paying it?
I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have a young child that's 14 months old and a 4.5-year-old. I don't have anyone to care for my children. I don't have a formal career, formal training. For me to have to go back to work, the child care expenses that would be incurred, I don't know how I could do it. So we're trying to make adjustments with the income that I have from my husband now to pay what we can.
Do you live in a nice house?
We live in a nice house, yes. It's not extravagant by any means. We bought the home 2 years ago. It was a stretch for my husband's income. He has gotten a few raises since we moved in there.
And And how much child support are you supposed to pay?
It's $150 a month.
And you can't muster $150 a month?
I think that I could.
So you just made a decision to just not do it?
No, I've not had any intention of not paying it.
Well,
I don't know where I'm supposed to find the money if I don't have it. And I'm serious. I literally, after our bills are paid, we don't have it.
Maybe I didn't understand you correctly, because I just said, so you just made a decision not to pay it. You said, yeah, pretty much. Because I said, could you find $150 to pay? Well, yes. But you're not.
I don't know
correct.
where, but
Well, you live in a nice home. You've got 2 cars. There was a stretch,
Sure.
but your husband's had a couple of raises since you moved in. And you just kind of decided to spend the money other places.
No, we pay it to bills. We don't spend money. We pay utilities and bills and food.
Yeah, but the bills you incur, you choose what to spend on,
yes,
right?
Right. And, you know, we've been divorced for 5 years. I never once filed for child support on him, never asked for a dollar.
How did this divorce come about?
I had gotten involved with a coworker. It was emotional. I did not sleep with him. I never saw him outside of work. There was nothing, you know, no secrecy, no hiding, no rendezvousing. And I had told Jared that it was going on when it was happening and letting him know that, hey, there's some, you know, I have inappropriate feelings for another man. I don't know what's going on. This is scaring me. We need to work on this. There was a kiss exchanged between myself and the other gentleman. He thought that I had slept with him, and so he kicked me out of the house. One day I was on my way home from work, and my mom calls and says, Jared has picked up the kids and told me that he's taking them and has changed the locks and kicking you out of the house and filing for divorce.
Okay, and are you concerned about the children when they're with her?
Only when Jason's present.
Because you're concerned that there's some abuse going on?
When Jason's there, yes, absolutely.
And is there?
There's no abuse going on.
And you think there is. Why do you think there is?
I've got proof and I've got evidence that's supported by the limited case manager.
Are you in my home? I mean, do you see interaction between him and the children?
I've got feedback from the kids, both of the kids, and it's documented, and the court has accepted it as to be so. That's
they were
why
allegations that were never fully proven.
So who has primary custody of the children?
Jared has primary custody.
Why is that?
The kids had stated that they wanted to live and spend more time with their dad. And they did express that they didn't like some of the conflict that was in my home. Conflict that really wasn't there until we started this whole custody battle a year ago. Because there were never any accusations of any type of abuse towards myself or my husband until we opened up the custody battle a year ago. And then all of a sudden, this comes out. We've worked extremely hard as a blended family because we know the odds are against us. Statistically, we have a high risk of divorce. And we have put a lot of energy, a lot of education, a lot of counseling, a lot of therapy to make sure that our family is healthy, that our kids are happy, that they're well taken care of. And he's just gone in and constantly disrupted it. Constantly gone in.
So you're just a victim here. You have no ownership in any of the problems that are going on whatsoever.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
Well, that is what you're saying. I mean, because I'm asking you, you say, no, we didn't have any problems until he caused them. Nothing happened. Just, it's all, until he started a custody fight.
We have normal blended family problems.
Because I asked you if you were going to be honest here. Listen, when I bring couples up here and nobody has any ownership of any problems whatsoever, but yet the problems persist, I'm wasting my time. Come on. Nobody has any ownership of anything. He's not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong.
I take responsibility for responding to him and reacting to him.
Okay, so, but still, it's...
And I take responsibility for, you know, just not being able to just ignore the text messages. But how long am I supposed to ignore that type of talk towards me for 5 years? I do feel like a victim in the situation. He's put me at my lowest low. I feel like he's trying to destroy me.
Okay, what are you most responsible for? Not in reaction to him. What is your biggest mistake in this whole thing? What do you own that you are most responsible for?
How I respond to his junk. And I...
You guys just don't get it, and your kids are paying for it. All right, Jared accuses Chandra's current husband, Jason, of abusing his 2 children and tying a dog collar around the neck of then 5-year-old son as punishment. We're going to meet Jason next, and somebody's going to tell me the truth, or we're going to end this show at the halfway mark and all go do something else. We'll be right back.
Jason is abusive towards my children. As a form of punishment, he put a dog collar around my 9-year-old's neck and tied him to the stairwell.
This dog collar thing is just ridiculous.
And later, hold it, stop, do not say a word. Honest to God, are you kidding me? I'm asking him a question, and you two infantiles start rolling your eyes and making smirky comments.
At the end of our marriage, I got her a job.
I had developed a friendship with a coworker, and there was a kiss exchange.
She ended up repaying me by having an affair.
It was an emotional affair. There was no sex. He confronted me in anger. A week later, Jared left me. Jared told me that I would not get my children, that I would lose everything.
Immediately after breaking up, Chandra had met this clown, Jason, on the internet, which got her pregnant.
Well, since Chandra is now married to what Jared refers to as that clown, Jason, he claims she turns a blind eye to the alleged abuse perpetuated by him in their home.
Jason is abusive towards my children, physically and emotionally.
Jared hated me from the very beginning.
He has severe anger problems, and both my kids have told me repeatedly that they are scared of Jason. As a form of punishment, he put a dog collar around my 9-year-old's neck and tied him to the stairwell.
This is not true. There was actually a dog leash that was placed around his shoulders loosely.
This dog collar thing is just ridiculous. I admit that it probably wasn't the best decision at the time. However, I was never abusing him. I was trying to teach him empathy for the animal.
As a form of punishment, Jason did lock my 2 kids in the laundry room and turned off the lights.
It is literally impossible for me to lock the kids in the laundry room with the lights out. 1, because there is no lock on the door, and 2, the light switch is inside. I have never abused the kids, ever. I treat them as if they were my own kids when they're here.
It gives me deep anger knowing that Chandra doesn't stand up for the kids, and they're being cursed at and they're being yelled at.
My children are the center of my world. Where'd it go? What happened? I care about every move they make.
Jared has never tried to establish any kind of relationship with me at all. It's going to be really funny to see how this whole thing comes off in the studio, because we've never had a real conversation face to face.
Okay, well, Chandra's current husband, Jason, has joined us. Pretty serious allegations against you.
Very serious.
Have you abused these children?
Never. Absolutely never.
Has he abused these children?
No, I
Did you
did
put
not.
a dog collar around this boy's neck?
No, I never put a dog collar around the boy's neck.
Why is it said that you did?
He's the one saying it, so I would say you'd have to ask him. I mean, there was an incident where a mistake was made.
What was the mistake?
We had recently, and this is 2 years ago, we had got our first family dog. The boy had the dog, was playing with him, and somehow had tied the dog with his dog collar to with the leash to the stair railing. And the dog was pulled up the stairs to a point where the dog was almost about to choke. And I come walking into the room, and I freak out. I'm like, what's going on? Why do you have the dog tied up like this? You're going to choke the dog. And I was like, I didn't know, so I let the dog loose, and the dog ran off. And I was like, okay, how can I parent this? How do I teach him to empathize with the animal of what he was doing? So I told him, time out, sit on the stairs. And then I took the leash and draped it over his shoulders. It wasn't even on him. I just draped it over his shoulders. He could have got up and walked away.
On the stairs.
He could have taken it off with anything. Now, granted, it was a bad parenting decision.
So, do you two fight in front of the kids?
We have fought in front of the children.
If you're asked to babysit the kids, do you charge him?
Never. I don't babysit my own children. I take my children and I care for them.
Does she charge you to babysit the kids?
She has charged me. In fact,
What's my rate?
She charged
mean,
me
seriously.
$200 a month
No.
to help me with the kids. In fact, she typed up a formal agreement, wanted me to sign the agreement, and because I refused to sign the agreement,
you offered
he
to
got
pay the $200 a month
you were
during your school.
You were working in the car business your 7 days, 80 hours a week
Okay, now,
job.
is that true or is it not?
Yes, because, and the reason why I did that.
Well, wait, I asked you if you were charging to babysit the kids, and
he
you said no.
offered it to me. He said, hey, I need a sitter. I'll give you $200 a month if you watch them over the summer on the times I have to work. I said, sure, I could really use the money. This was the time he was in between his job. I took it. I'd never gotten child support, never asked him for anything. We split everything 50-50 up to this point.
Did these children have 58 tardies and 83 absences while in your care?
That was over a 5-year period.
But it wasn't.
Or I was like 3-year period. And he never, I went through the calendar and looked at all of the dates on that. Those were just as much on his days as mine. I do not keep my children at home necessarily. He takes them out of school to go on a hunting trip with him so they can go sit in Nebraska while he goes and hunts. And they miss school. He does this every year.
So while in your care, they didn't have 58 tardies and 83 absences?
From the elementary school, a stack of documents this
And that went
thick.
to court, and the case manager looked at that, and there was no way that was true. They threw that out. It was ridiculous.
Did you falsely accuse him of sexually abusing the children?
No, I've never.
To the mediator?
No, I said I thought that some of the things I hear about how he interacts with the daughter is inappropriate as far as her age and what he was doing. I didn't say that he was sexually abusing her.
What was I doing?
I had heard from the children that she...
Did you insinuate it?
I might have insinuated, yeah.
You see, you give me half-truths. I asked you, oh, no. Well, you know, there was things I didn't like. And the truth is, you did say to the mediator, I don't like this picture of him sitting on the lap. It bothers me. There was an insinuation there.
It got very nasty. I mean,
the more you talk, the more it comes out that, yes, actually I did imply, insinuate, suggest to the mediator that I was uncomfortable with the relationship between him and my female child.
I had some fear at that moment
Okay,
hearing
then
that.
why did you say no when I asked you? Your first answer is to deny, and then when I asked you, well, actually, yes.
Well, an inappropriate relationship as far as how he is not the same as, I mean, that's not like you sexually abused her. I'm not saying that he's, I'm saying that I have a fear of that. But I don't have that fear. I don't know how to get through this.
Could I clear up something real quick?
I don't know how to get through this.
I hope so.
Okay.
I really hope so, because...
So here's specifically with the whole thing.
I hope the court's watching this. Seriously, are y'all... I tell you, when y'all sit down and watch this, I really wonder... I really wonder if all of y'all are going to be proud.
I hate who I've become in this. I hate this. This is not who I am. I am not this person. This is not who I was when this started. I did not imagine this would have ever been this way. I just want the fighting to stop.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because let me tell you, you may be a lot of things here, but a pure-out victim is not one of them. Okay. Because you got ownership in here, just as do you. I mean, if y'all think that this is becoming to you as parents or people,
I know
it is not. I've made many studies of people's conduct, and I've gone to their homes, and I've interviewed and looked at things. You would not have wanted me appointed in this case. Does Jared have an ulterior motive here? Is there something going on here that is other than is apparent? I'll tell you what I think when we come back. Honest to God, we are so done here if this doesn't stop. I am, oh my God.
We were told not to hold anything back.
Hold that back.
I think that Jared still wants to be with Chandra. However, I'm not sure that it's love that drives that.
I'm not still in love with Chandra. I would never take Chandra back.
He has this picture-perfect life that he imagines for himself. I don't think that he's dealt with the pain and the grief that comes from a divorce.
I don't have hopes that she breaks up with Jason so her and I can reignite, but I have had hopes that they break up for my kids' sake.
Look, you know, at some point, somebody has to say what's really best for the children here. And I can I can assure you, whether you think so or not, that if you behave in such a way that alienates your children from their mother, that will come back to haunt you. And you may not think it will, and you may think that you've got this all figured out, and probably right now it feels like you're winning because you've gotten the court to give you primary custody, and you've gotten the court to award you some child support. I know it's a token, but it's a victory, and so you may feel like, you know, I got this going on. I'm winning in this war. But if directly, indirectly, or otherwise, you're doing things or saying things or whatever that causes them to feel badly towards their mother, or even stands in the way of them feeling possibly towards their mother, the day will come where they reach a level of maturity that they're going to parse this out, and they're going to resent you for that. And you're going to remember me telling you this. You're going to look back, and you're going to remember, you know, the day I was sitting there, and he told me that this was going to happen. And the same thing is true with you and you. But if you behave in a way that alienates them from their father, I promise you that will come back to haunt you.
I understand that.
It will come back to haunt you because they'll come to you at some point and say, how come I don't have a relationship with my dad? Because my mother had an agenda she had to run.
I have no agenda.
Oh, of course you don't. You guys are going back and forth like you were dating in high school. You know, in high school, you break up with somebody, you got to hate them, right?
Yeah.
This isn't high school. This is a real world. And you have children that didn't choose you.
I know.
They're stuck with you.
I've come to him with trying to make peace. I have offered this out yearly, telling him, come on, can't we just put down the swords? Let's co-parent. I imagine that we would be together at the children's birthday parties. And he keeps them on the opposite side of the auditorium, and they have to wave at me in school functions if it's not my day. And it just, I don't understand why it just seems so much like he is just so bitter over the divorce that he can't handle the fact that I had an affair on him, and can't handle the fact that I'm married, can't handle the fact that there's another man that maybe wants to be a part of his children's lives.
What do you want her to do? What can she do to decompress this situation and get along? What can she do so that you guys can show up at Chuck E. Cheese for the birthday party and sit at the same table and be cordial and smile at each other, and they can run up and sit in one of your laps and sit at the other and feel completely free and okay and not have tension in the room? What would have to happen for that to occur?
Well, I think the best thing for me is I've always wanted her to take ownership of the kids within the house, whether it's the homework or whether it's the disciplining. I feel like she doesn't.
Wait a minute. Come on. Hold it. Stop. Do not say a word.
Yes, sir.
Please. Honest to God. Are you kidding me? I'm asking him a question, and you two infantiles start rolling your eyes and making smirky comments. Honest to God, we are so done here if this doesn't stop.
Okay.
I am, oh my God.
We were told not to hold anything back
Oh,
here.
hold that back. I am so done. Take a break. Take a break. I'm not doing this. I'm not going on. What you were saying something before the peanut gallery started responding. You said you want them to do different at their house.
What I'm saying is I feel like about 90% of the conflict is Jason.
So you're saying that they need to do better at home, and then when you see them out, you'll behave better.
Yes,
Is that it?
I think it would give Chandra and I the opportunity to visit and be more cordial with each
Yeah,
other.
but she's going to stay married.
And that's fine. I'm saying it would give her and I the opportunity to co-parent the kids and to feel like there's not some major bridge or resentment that I have.
You know, he can't dummy up at home. He's got to do what he does. I mean, he is who he is, you know. I mean, he's going to be there. He can't not be there. I've been doing this a long time. I do not believe this guy is abusive. I don't think he would hurt your children. That's just my professional opinion. But I don't think there's anybody that would be there that you would be comfortable with. I think you would rather her just live alone with the children. But since that's not going to happen and you don't get a vote on whether she's married or not, are you really telling me that she's just going to have to behave the way you want her to at home, or you're going to continue to punish your children by making them feel tension when you're around them together?
No. Misunderstand. When I pick up the kids after they've been at their house, I get an earful of instances and details and complaints. Month after month after month for years, I get the feedback from the two kids. I don't even have to ask the question. I get the feedback. I get the documentation where the kids want to write it in their journals. They want to express themselves, and they want to say how they feel while they're at their mom's house. This has nothing to do with me.
Do you think maybe if they saw a more unified front here, that they might be less likely to be critical?
Yeah. I'm not influencing the
system. What are you not understanding that I'm telling you? What do you think I'm telling you? Here's the thing. When you're with these people, when you're with these two, then you can take the children out of the middle by being cordial.
I agree.
You can do it where they don't feel that tension and pressure.
That's fine.
And if there are things going on when they are with these two that are so egregious that you think it is detrimental to those children, then that information can be shared with those counselors by your children in your absence. And that is that's how the system works. And that's what needs to happen.
That's already taken place.
Yeah, I understand. And if that continues on, then at some point, then they will be eliminated. They'll be eliminated.
Well,
and then you won't have that issue.
It's not my issue. It's the kids' issue. I have nothing to do with it. I'm not even in the room.
And what I'm telling you, and if that reaches critical mass, then those people will take action to eliminate these people having access to them.
That's where we sit right now.
No, that's not. They still have access to them.
They have access for the time being, but the kids still report to me every time I pick them up negative feedback.
What you can do is take those kids out of the middle when all of y'all are together. And if they continue to report things to these counselors that something unhealthy is happening here, then trust me, that system will eliminate these people. They will either change what they're doing or it will eliminate their access to those children. That will happen. I've been in this system long enough to tell you that will happen.
Sir, that's their choice. That's their decision that they're making. I'm not influencing the system.
What are you not understanding that I'm telling you? What is it? What do you think I'm telling you?
Okay, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
However, I feel like you blame me on this situation in some instances.
Okay, let me restate it. Erase everything I've said, and I'll say it now. We'll just start from here. I'm telling you, if what you're saying is true, the system will take care of that. What you need to do is make sure you don't put your children in the middle in the meantime. This situation needs a hero. Who better than you? Who better than you to be the bigger man to take your children out of the middle, to bleed the tension from the situation? Be a hero for your children.
Yes.
Don't you agree with that? Who better than you to be the one to be the hero for your children? And if what he's saying is true, you got a big problem. And if what he's saying is not true, then it doesn't matter. But if those children, in his absence, are reporting to independent professionals that you two have a chaotic situation that is unhealthy for them, you have an access problem for those kids, and it's going to shrink to the point that it's first going to go to supervision only and then to nothing.
I understand. And
Just that simple.
I've been working closely with the children's therapist, and she has told me that she does not feel like the children should be removed from my home. She does not feel like my home is unsafe. There are issues with how the children are responding to him. The only time the kids even talked about Jason with her was during the court proceedings. And then after the court custody had been decided, it's like talk of Jason just went away.
You can't blame this on the court. Come on, you need.
What we're saying is that he's overboard.
I want to thank my guest today because when we're talking about custody issues and we're talking about family issues, you've got to ask yourself, am I putting innocent children in the middle of a crossfire? And look, I understand that feelings get really powerful. Feelings get really strong whenever love is involved, whenever we've emotionally invested. It really does become a powerful motivator. Our feelings really cause us to see things a certain way. We've got to step back and think, wait a minute. Somebody else is involved here, and those somebodies are people that don't get a vote. You know, they don't, sometimes children would love to just say, Mom, Dad, will you please just shut up? Please just stop talking. Please, let's just be still for a few minutes. Because we just are little, and we just want some peace. And sometimes if you'll just give that to them, you'll just see them blossom. Thanks for being here. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. Thanks. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil. Teenage rage.
Brandon started chasing Phil with scissors, stabbing at the door.
Under Brandon's bed, I found some underwear. I do not know where they came from.
He started fires on the roof. He threatened to kill the entire family. I'd like to meet your son face to face. Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, free. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. Teenage rage.
Shut up! I will never speak to you ever again!
Get the out of my way.
I'm not in prison, I'm in hell. This is different.
Get out of here. Get away from me.
I love you.
Now go the away.
Get out! Caitlin! He's your dad. I don't give a
Don't talk to me like that.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't give a He's my dad. I need to go home.
Sometimes with a lot of hard work on the part of teens and their parents, they are able to turn things around. And the stories have a positive ending. But sometimes, sadly, they don't. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure what's going to happen with today's story. What I do know is that my first guest's son takes teenage rage to a whole new level. His mom has written the show more than 800 times. Her 15-year-old is so out of control, she fears for her life and his.
Stop it! Stop! No, it's not good.
My son Brandon is very violent.
Brandon!
Brandon goes off like a light switch.
Turn it off! Don't ever call me that again.
He will cuss me out. I get spit at.
No!
Hit.
Stop! Don't touch me.
Punched. Something thrown at me.
Brandon started chasing Phyllis with a pair of scissors, stabbing at the door. I think it's only a matter of time before Brandon kills my wife, Phyllis. No! No! When he loses temper, he'll put holes in the walls. He broke my laptop. He threw it on the floor.
Brandon gets mad because he says he doesn't like rules.
The simplest things get Brandon going. Ask him to brush his teeth, a shower.
I just can't believe the way my own son treats me, just for asking him to do the simplest things. Brandon has hit his therapist, he's hit school teachers. Brandon told a judge to off. He's told police to off. Brandon punched his grandmother, spit on his grandfather.
He started fires in my house and in the school. Brandon has thrown my little dog across the room.
And he's smeared feces on the wall. I have called the police over 50 times.
The police tell us that there's nothing that they can do until he commits a felony. So what is that? He's got to stab my wife before they can take him away?
Well, Phyllis and Barry say Brandon's violence started at a very young age, and they have tried everything to stop it.
Brandon, I'm talking to you. Talk to me. Brandon!
Nah.
Stop!
No!
Brandon's behavior dates all the way back until 6 years old.
The kids were out in the woods playing. We hear this blood-curdling scream. It turned out that a kid had been hit in the back of the head with a flashlight. I said, Brandon, did you do that? And he looked at me, shook his head, yeah. There was no remorse there.
Brandon once came after me and his grandmother with a baseball bat because he wanted a baseball glove, and I told him no. One instance, Brandon said, Mom, I don't know how you can love a child like me.
Brandon's been in 10 different residential homes, 10 different hospitals, and 22 different medications.
Do not call me a 2-year-old.
I did. I said you're acting like it.
I can't go to work without worrying about what's happening here. Just how long is her not going to hold out?
I think every day that Brandon's going to hurt me or hurt somebody else, that a police officer's going to come to my house and state that Brandon's killed somebody, I'm afraid Brandon's going to kill me or end up in prison for the rest of his life.
At this point, both of you are afraid.
Yes, very much so.
Do you, and I know this is hard to wrap your mind around, but it is fully in your realm of possibility that your son could kill you in your home?
Yes.
There have been times in your home that you thought, this isn't going to stop, this is the time.
Yeah.
And you say you get in your car to leave for work, you really wonder if this is the day.
Right. I'm wondering if she's going to be able to get behind that door this time. Is she going to make it?
The time will come when if he wants to go through that door, he will go through the door.
Right.
You get that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you get that?
Yes, sir.
Is there a point that it's occurred in your mind that you might have to hurt or kill him to stop him?
It scares me to think that I would kill my son to keep him from killing me. That scares me. I don't go to sleep at night until I know for sure he's sleeping.
What do you hope to get here today? What's your hope here today?
I just want to know how I can help him, what I can do differently to help him. He's got to be hurting inside. I just don't know how to talk to him. He won't talk to me.
Anytime we go to talk about any kind of problems with him, he shuts down and he won't talk to us.
He'll tell me to shut up, or shut up is what he says.
Well, let's get this on the table here, because I've been in this profession for a long time. And I believe that you work the problem. And I believe that 50% of the solution to any problem lies in defining it. You got to figure out what's going on, or you can't work the problem. It's kind of like if you get lost, if you come up to an intersection and you turn the wrong way, and you're supposed to go right and you go left, so you go left 5 miles, then you've really gone 15 miles out of the way. You say, well, you just went left 5 miles. No, you went 5 miles out of the wrong way, but then you got to come back 5 miles. So that's 5 miles out, 5 miles back, and that's 5 miles you weren't going in this direction. So you're just way off track. And I think that's a lot of what's been going on here. Let's take a look at what's been happening. As far back as 6 years old, he hit a Cub Scout with a flashlight in the back of the head, right? This was when he was 6. He's been put in detention centers and juvenile hall. He throws chairs and he's banged his own head against the wall. Yes. That's significant. Yes. Okay? He's put a knife to his own stomach and threatened to kill himself. That too is significant. He's threatened to kill the entire family. Yes. Again, significant. He started fires in the school bathroom. Significant. He has told the judge, just a really vile in the face of authority, swings a baseball bat at Walmart employees and his grandmother, starts fire in the garage, punches his grandmother, smears feces on the wall, again significant, threatens to kill teachers, stabs the door with scissors, you're on the other side.
Yes.
Punches grandfather in the chest, throws laptop on the floor, breaks it, pulls wires and cords out of the TV, breaks the DVD player. So destruction of property.
Yes.
Now, Phyllis and Barry showed us what they have to do to protect themselves from Brandon's violent behavior. Let's take a look at this and then we'll talk about it.
We have to take safety precautions in our house.
I have to check his jackets. Most of the time it's either lighters or like a screwdriver. I always make sure there's nothing that he can hurt himself or hurt me with, burn the house down with.
We had to put door locks on the bedroom.
When Brandon starts chasing me, I run up here and I just have to shut it. We have a key lock. We had the regular locks and he would just pick them. One time he got in my room and slammed the door so hard he put a crack in it.
In our last house, he was stabbing at the door with these scissors. I'm just scared that one day she won't be able to get in.
Brandon was trying to get me to come out of the room. He would yell that he's going to put the phone outside when it was raining so it would get ruined. I would rather him ruin the phone than for me to get hurt. I feel like I'm a prisoner. I have to sit in my room to keep safe for my own son.
You're in over your head. You get that?
Yes, sir.
I want to be sure. You said when you were talking to us before you got here that you wanted some straight answers while you were here.
Yes, that's what I need.
And I want to give you some straight answers. And one is, I don't think that you're just being melodramatic or that you have been worn down, so you're overreacting. These situations do go badly. You know, we read things in the headlines all the time. Teen charged with parents' gruesome murder. Florida teen killed parents with hammer and then hosted house party. 10-year-old admits to killing his mother. 12-year-old held after parents' murder. And trust me, these didn't just come out of the blue. This wasn't just some wonderful child that all of a sudden did something. These are kids that have histories that are very troubled and violent like this. And that doesn't mean they're evil children, but they have these troubled histories, and nobody figured out what was going on to give them the help or relief, and then it explodes and goes badly. When we come back, you're going to find what else Phyllis found Brandon doing just a few weeks ago that, to me, may be the most dangerous thing he's doing. We'll be right back.
And every time I come in here, it's more and more stuff. I'm checking Brandon's bed. This is where he hides his stuff, and this is what I find. At times, I'm very afraid of my own son. He gets very violent.
No! No!
He'll throw things at me. When he was younger, around 9 or 10, he had stated that he was going to kill me or his father. There was one instance where he would say he was going to become a police officer and he would get the gun and shoot everybody in the family.
Phyllis and Barry are so afraid of their 15-year-old son that they worry that he could end up killing them. Now, recently, Phyllis discovered something in Brandon's room just a few weeks ago that shocked her to the core and that I have said may be the most dangerous element of this entire scenario. When you watch this tape, I'm going to finish that, and then I'm going to tell you why I think it's so dangerous.
Brandon will steal things from out of my bedroom, like underwear and bras, and he hides them in his room. I found the underwear stuff up under Brandon's bed, underneath the mattress. One time I went in there to turn his light off, and he had my sports bra on, and another time Brandon had a bathing suit top of mine underneath his t-shirt. Every time I come in here, it's more and more stuff. I'm checking Brandon's bed, because this is where he hides his stuff, and this is what I find. I checked his room yesterday, and now there's even more, and it's all wet. And these right here, they do not belong to me, so I do not know where they came from. There's bras, my underwear, and all this underwear that does not belong to me, and we find more. And this is a dress, and it's hidden under his mattress. And I was checking his closet. This is my bag from my bedroom, and it's got more of my stuff in there, undergarments. This has just been going on for the last couple months. He started doing this. What really scares me is the stuff that does not belong to me. I don't know where he gets it, and that's really scary.
If it is a fetish type thing or an infatuation or exploration, curiosity with things associated with the opposite sex, that just barely hits my Richter scale compared to everything else. That's not what I consider to be dangerous about this. What I consider to be dangerous about this is if that young man is going into neighbors' homes and he gets confronted in someone's bedroom, going through a dresser by a husband or a wife, and he panics and a violent confrontation ensues, that's dangerous. He could be shot, he could be killed, he could hurt someone trying to escape or flee. A young man of this level of adjustment or maladjustment does not do well incarcerated. This is a very dangerous situation. You asked him about it, what did he say?
He told me he did it one time at his grandmother's house. He hid some underwear in the closet he was sleeping in the room he was sleeping in. And he told me that he liked hiding it. It was like a game to him. But I didn't understand that at that point, because then it was like a couple weeks later, I went in his room to turn his light off, and he had it on under his t-shirt.
But you asked him about it, he just told you to shut up.
Yeah, he tells me to shut up most of the time. It's just anything I ask him.
And when you say these things were wet, I mean, they had been soaked.
Yeah,
they were
it was
like
like
in
he
the
had-
sink. These were
Yeah.
wet, wash wet.
Right. Yes.
So,
Wringing wet.
yeah, just wringing wet. And which suggests he might have gotten them from someone's laundry. He might have gotten them, who knows? We don't know. But we know they weren't yours.
No.
So we know he got them from somebody else. That's the important thing here. Yes. Other things go on in his room. He's got a window in his room, right?
Yes.
And he's gone out that window onto the roof.
Mm-hmm.
This is Brandon's room. This is the carpet with burn marks in them. So I have to search his room to see where he has a lighter. Also, this is Brandon's window. He kept opening it, so I went to see what it was, and this is what he has outside his window. A pair of girls' underwear, and then burnt like cotton balls, and he shoved them out the window.
Okay, again, danger, right?
Yes.
Again, danger, because he's on the roof playing with matches or lighters or whatever.
Lighters.
I mean, you could set the house on fire, burn from the top down, kill everybody. So my point about this is you don't have the ability to contain this child.
No.
What he is doing is beyond your reach and control and ability to supervise.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Yes.
Okay, and obviously this is leading to a reality. Yeah, I said I was going to give you some clear truths here. And one of the truths is you can't manage this child in the home. There is a constellation of behaviors that I have extracted from everything you've told us here that are critical. He's showing violence, right?
Yes.
He's showing cruelty towards animals.
Yes.
He's thrown your cat, was it?
Dog.
Dog. He's setting fires. He's playing with feces, manipulating that. That's clinically significant. He's showing abject rebelliousness to authority, principals, teachers, judges, and police, and parents. He is a misfit socially in terms of interacting with others. He's showing unusual sexual adjustment with fetish behavior. Self-mutilation, at least to the point that he's hitting himself and beating his head against the wall.
Yes.
Sir, I saw him take and drive his fist so hard into his face that I thought for sure he would break his nose, black his eyes.
Okay, well, that's what I mean. This is clinically significant. He is threatening himself and others. He's held a knife to his stomach. He's threatened to kill you and the entire family, destruction of property, and he has a coldness and a lack of empathy about what he does with and to others. Now, that constellation of behaviors does not bode well for how he's going to interact with society. Now, the question becomes, why? Why is he doing this? What's going on? He's been to 14 different treatment centers, right? 10 inpatient centers?
Yes, sir.
And then 4 other centers. He's been evaluated. I've read all of the records. I've read all of the notes, and I've been in this profession a long time, and I read a lot of psychobabble. I don't know what a parent would do with a lot of what you read, but we're going to try to translate some of that for you.
Yeah.
And what it means, and I'm going to tell you what I think is going on. I'll tell you what I would like to do if I could. I'd like to steal a few minutes here and step back and meet your son face to face. I'd like to sit and talk with him, but I can't do that without your permission because he's a minor, and I'd like to chat with him if I could. And with your permission, I'm going to let the audience watch that. And when I come back, I'm going to be seated with this young man who I will tell you does not want to do what he is doing. I promise you, no kid wants to live the way this young man is living. I'm going to chat with him when we come back.
God, no! Brandon, no!
When I get angry, I think I could hurt somebody. Because I just don't think about what happens when I get angry. I could go to prison if nothing changes.
Brandon's 15 and he still likes to play with little Matchbox cars, just likes to play with Legos. My son still likes his light on at night, and I have to go in there and turn it off when he goes to sleep. Brandon is currently in 9th grade, but he is on a 4th grade level because he will refuse to do any schoolwork. Brandon probably acts like he's 7 or 8 years old.
Brandon!
Phyllis says at times her 15-year-old acts like a little boy, but at other times he rages like an out-of-control man, threatening to kill her. I am backstage about to talk to Brandon face-to-face, but before I do, we did interview Brandon at home. Here's what he had to say about his behavior.
My anger just comes out of the blue sometimes. No warning signs. When I get angry, I think I could hurt somebody. Because I just don't think about what happens when I get angry. Most of the time, I'm sorry about what I do. A good day is when I get to go fishing, golfing, hang out with friends. A bad day is when I get mad and throw things. When I lit a fire at school, a bad day. I think I'm a good person. I think I'm the same as other people. I just don't think I act the same. Just my behavior, I act differently.
Brandon, stop!
I want my mom to know I love her. I think sometimes, how does she love a kid like me? I'm afraid that I'll hurt somebody when I get mad. I could go to prison if nothing changes.
Do you think you need help?
Help? Yes, I need help.
Well, listen, I'm glad to meet you. I've been talking to your mom and dad, and they love you very much, and they really want you to be happy, and they are working real hard to try to figure out how to make that happen. So I was watching that interview that you did at home, and you said that sometimes you get mad and sometimes you set fires and stuff. What do you think about when you set fires?
I don't know.
Why do you like to set fire? Do you like to do that? I mean, do you like to watch it, or what is it about it you like?
I like to watch it.
Yeah. When you're going to get angry, do you know it before you do it?
Mm-mm.
It just comes like that?
Yes.
So like 1 second, you're just sitting there, and the next second, boom, you're angry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What makes you angry the most?
Just a lot of things.
Yeah. Like people telling you what to do?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you upset? Yeah. Do you get angry with your friends or just adults?
Adults.
Yeah. Just us old people? Yeah. Does it bother you if they tell you, like, you have to clean up your room or go shower or do this or do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How come? What bothers you about that?
I just don't want to clean my room.
Yeah. Does it bother you if your mother is upset? If you hurt her feelings or something, does that bother you?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever hit your mom?
Yes.
Yeah. Does it hurt her?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel if you hurt her?
Sad.
Yeah. What do you say to yourself if you've hit your mom and, like, maybe you hit her in the arm or something and she grabs it and you can see in her face that it's hurt her? What do you say to yourself?
I shouldn't have done that.
You've chased your mom to her room sometimes. Why do you do that?
Just to get her mad.
Yeah, to get a reaction out of her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your mother said that she was in your room and she found, like, underwear, women's underwear and stuff in your room. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Well, you put it there. Where'd you find it?
Nowhere. I didn't put it there.
Somebody else put it there?
I guess.
Yeah. They've put you in different treatment facilities from time to time to try to get you some help. Did any of those help?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
Oh, no. Just didn't help.
Yeah. But you want to get better, right? You want to get happier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If we could figure something out that would help you feel better, be happier, you'd want to do it. True?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You said you wanted your mom to know that you loved her. Do you?
Yes.
You love your mom? Why?
She's nice to me.
Yeah. You love your dad? Do you think they love you?
Yes.
Yeah. Why?
Because I'm a good kid when I want to be.
There was one thing that you thought if I knew it about you that I'd be able to help you, what would it be?
I don't know.
Well, really think about that, because seriously, if there's something you know about you that if somebody knew, I mean, if you've sat around and thought, you know, if they just knew me, if they just knew this, if they just figured this out, they could help me. If I knew that, I'll do whatever it takes to help you. Because I just want you to be happy. What do you think?
I don't know.
All right. Well, listen, I'll leave you alone. I just wanted to chat with you for a few minutes because we're talking about you, so I thought I'd talk to you. It's good to meet you. Proud to meet you. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to head back out and talk to this fine young man's parents. I'm backstage with Dr. Lawless. He's chairman of our advisory board and, by the way, a double diplomate in psychology, and we've been working on this case really, gosh, I guess for a couple of weeks off and on now. You were in the room while I was talking with this young man, observing the interview. What'd you take away from that?
Well, when you ask him questions about to explain himself, I really believed him. I think that he gets out of control, has no clue of why, other than he just explodes.
Yeah, I think his mental processing is very unsophisticated at this point. I think he has not developed. I think he's intelligent, but I think his thought process is pretty impoverished at this point.
Well, he only answered you in terms of the first level. He couldn't explain himself. He didn't go into any kind of detail. So I agree with you. He's got a lot of limitations.
Yeah. You know, asking about the underwear, I think that was the one lie he told straight up. I think he's too embarrassed to talk about that.
I agree on that, yeah.
So I didn't press him on that. I don't think there's any. Yeah, obviously, it didn't walk in there.
Right.
But I don't think there's a point in embarrassing him about it.
Right, but he started picking at his clothes and started getting very agitated.
Yeah, he clearly was lying about that. Right. But again, that's not the time to to press on that. We know the answers to that. So, okay. Up next, so what happens at this point? Will the violence end, or will this young man wind up in prison? I've talked to him. I've looked him in the eye. I'm going to tell his parents what I think is really going on with him. I'm going to tell them what I think needs to happen next.
Dr. Phil, I just want to know the truth, whether it's good or bad, whatever you have to tell me. I want to know if Brandon will ever be able to live a normal life where he doesn't have the anger issues.
Do what I ask you to do. No.
And he's not violent.
Stop banging on the table.
And I'm not scared of him.
Brandon, stop it.
I need to know if there is a chance of being able to help my son.
The question is, what's causing this? Is there any hope for him? Or is this just the future? Are they living their future at this point? I mean, that's pretty much where you guys are, right?
Yeah, yes.
Now, you watched me talk to him backstage. Very nice young man as he sits and talks to me. I think some of what he said to me was honest. I think some of it was a blatant lie. He clearly lied about the underwear. He became very agitated when I talked to him about that. He started all of this. And it, interestingly enough, was a very unsophisticated lie.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it wasn't a very believable lie. And you would expect someone of his intelligence and his age to tell a better story. I mean, my friend put it there. Somebody was over. I don't know. But he just said, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just, I mean, clearly, he knows that we know that he put it there, right? I mean, how else did it get there? And he just disavowed any knowledge of it whatsoever. It's totally non-believable. That's what I mean about not sophisticated. Don't know. Got nothing to say. I didn't put it there. It's in his room, under his mattress, under his bed. He's been caught taking it before. He's apologized to you.
Yeah.
He's been caught wearing it. Why did I not press it? Because there's nothing to be gained by pressing it at this point. I know the truth. I just wanted to know what he would say. And he gave a very cognitively impoverished lie. And it was a very unsophisticated lie that you would expect to get from a 4 or 5 year old child that, broke the lamp and had the lampshade over their arm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't do it.
What he does.
That's what he does.
But that's significant. I gave him some motivation to tell me something that he might want.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything to offer there, which tells me that he's not really thinking in a very introspective level at this point. So let's get to what I think is going on here. When we go through all of the medications that this young man has been on, I'm horrified.
So are we.
He has been on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 medications. Many of these work at cross purposes to others. Some of them agitate him. If some of these are stimulants to a brain that doesn't need stimulation.
Can that be fixed?
Yes. I'm going to tell you what I think's going on. I'm going to tell you what I think needs to happen. There are certain neurotherapies and things that can be done that can awaken parts of the brain and literally activate parts of the brain that are dormant or calm parts of the brain that are overactive. I'm going to tell you what I think's going on. I'm going to tell you what I think needs to happen here. Now, I have not done a diagnostic workup on this young man, so I'm going to tell you what I think. I think your son is autistic. Autism is a spectrum disorder, and if this is not properly diagnosed, then it cannot be properly treated. And if it isn't properly diagnosed, then it can be mistreated. And if it is mistreated, it's like turning down that road. You go in the wrong direction and you do things that actually can make the circumstance worse, while you're not doing things that can make the circumstance better. Now, there are things going on with him at a neurological level that, in examining the records, have never been evaluated. Now, I want to introduce Dr. Frank Lawless. He is the head of our advisory board. He is here today. He is the author of Retraining the Brain, and he is the clinical director of the PNP Center in Dallas, Texas. Now, the PNP Center is what I believe to be the leading diagnostic and treatment center in the United States today. Dr. Lawless, let's talk about this a little bit. I've said that I believe that we're dealing with the spectrum disorder here of autism. What do you think's going on here?
Oh, well, I absolutely agree. And a lot of that data comes from some of the evaluations that were done before. But what is really missing is a really brain map to tell what's going on in the brain. The area in the back of his brain, which is basically processing is at a very low level, so he can't take 2 or 3 step instructions. He gets very frustrated with very simple directions.
So something that you might say to him, I want you to get up and go clean your room and take a shower and then come back and we're going to have dinner. You might get a rage reaction from him or a frustration reaction for him, and if you have not evolved past a very young age, that frustration response is tantrum. It is tantrum-like. And then once you begin to develop that behavior, you default to it time and time and time again. So you can have a pattern of behavior that becomes deeply entrenched with so many triggers that it becomes a ready behavior that is triggered over and over and over again.
Can he learn to?
Well, yes, you can develop. You can. There are tools that, frankly, were not available even a few years ago. There are things, certainly biofeedback therapy, which has been around a long time, but there are certain neurotherapies and things that can be done that can awaken parts of the brain and literally activate parts of the brain that are dormant or calm parts of the brain that are overactive. And these are non-invasive procedures that can be utilized on an ongoing basis that the patient can experience as levels of mastery that can give them better controls. And am I describing this correctly?
You are. And what is the biggest obstacle for these kids is emotional management. They just don't have any options. They don't have any choices but to explode.
All right, we've got to take a break. Y'all soak this in. Think about what your questions are. We'll take a break, then we'll come back and talk about this a little bit more. One last thing I have to say to Phyllis and Barry before we leave today when we come back. Well, during the break, I continued to have a conversation with these parents, and it is hard to hear some of the things that we were talking about. I know, because, Barry, we were talking about, what happens if he doesn't respond, and the answers aren't good. What I know is this: if something doesn't turn dramatically in the near term to release this rage valve, he is more than you can handle at home. You are in an immediate danger. He could hurt seriously or kill one or both of you, and you're in over your head in that regard. So we are offering to send you guys to the PNP Center.
Thank you.
And Dr. Lawless, you will be the 15th place they have been. No pressure. This will be the 15th place that they have been. Does this sound like a plan to you?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And a special thanks to Dr. Frank Lawless, the head of our advisory board. He is author of Retraining the Brain, and you guys can learn a lot from what's in here about what will be going on with him. And I recommend this to anyone that is struggling with stress and anxiety, because it is a tough time in our society right now. For more information on today's show, please go to drphil.com. Thanks so much for being here.
Today on Dr. Phil.
She's been charged with unlawful sex activity with a minor.
I didn't set out to fall in love with a 16-year-old boy.
You're 30 years old. You need to get real here.
A mom engaged to a boy.
To us, this is not a crime.
Well, I'm sorry, but you don't make the law.
She had his baby on purpose.
You're a pedophile?
She called me a pedophile.
You are a pedophile.
A Dr. Phil exclusive.
You told me when you first met her she was 18.
You're coming up to us so negative.
You just protect his son. Don't give me that self-righteous crap like you're offended.
In love and illegal.
I feel like I have been set up.
You're playing the victim here. And lady, you're not the victim, you're the perpetrator. Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, free. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. Well, it seemed like the start of a modern-day romance. Two young people corresponding on Facebook, of course, right?
I met TJ through Facebook. He told me that I was cute, and then I told him, send me a message. He told me that he was 18. As the friendship progressed, I found out that he was 16.
Well, their friendship quickly turned into more. She called him the love of her life.
TJ is one of the most amazing individuals that I have met. I just don't see him as the love of my life or the man of my dreams. TJ is a person with a very kind heart. He's very affectionate, he's a very generous person, and intelligent as well. Some say that our love is wrong, but our personal belief is that it doesn't really matter how old you are. Love is love.
Well, 2 years later, this love affair became a media affair when their story broke on the evening news.
Her name is Melissa Dillon Hernandez, and she's been charged with unlawful sex activity with a minor. Tonight, 10 News found a lot of information about Hernandez online.
Hello everyone, this is Melissa Dillon, and welcome to my blog, where you can find a lot of cool things. I hope that you enjoy it. Have a good one.
Dillon Hernandez is out of jail and told police that the 17-year-old is her boyfriend. They live together and are planning on getting married.
Well, now TJ is 17. Melissa's 30. They are the proud parents of a 4-month-old baby girl. They say they plan to spend the rest of their lives together.
The moment that he proposed was particularly emotional. That is something that I did not expect, especially from a person his age. He came up with a ring. He just asked me if I was willing to marry him and spend the rest of my life with him, and without a doubt, I immediately said yes.
Well, the wedding could be on hold because the police say that Melissa could be facing up to 15 years in prison and have to register as a sex offender because she was charged with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. Now, Melissa says she doesn't feel like their love is a crime.
I want the world to know that TJ and I are in love and that we are both capable of fighting against any other person that would say that our love is not possible.
So, what's your goal today? What is it you want to achieve today by being here?
Okay, today I want to set the record straight.
Set it straight.
Exactly. I want to tell everyone that I am not a predator or a sex offender. And second, I want to prove that I didn't set out to fall in love with a 16-year-old boy. When I first met...
He was 15 and a half.
He was 16 when I first met him.
I think it was 15 and a half, but go ahead.
He's now 17, and he will be turning 18 next month.
Did any bells go off in your mind at that point that says, whoa, this is what's generally referred to as, what's the word I'm looking for, felony?
I absolutely did not think that I was getting in trouble. Why? Because I did not have any intentions of causing any harm to TJ. I didn't know that their relationship was going to go that far and that we were going to go ahead and plan to have a child.
Well, no, but you did have sex very early on.
I did have sex with him. We have mutual understanding.
Consensual sex. Well,
Consensual.
let's go back. Let me take you a step at a time here, because I'm fascinated with this, and we found out about this through the media. One of the producers read about this story, and it picked it up on our news scan. And I've always been fascinated. We see it with a lot of teachers and not teachers, that where you have adults that are in their 20s, 30s, and older, that get into intimate relationships, emotional and sexual, with children.
Correct.
And you're one of those people. You're 30 now, and you have a teenage father of a baby. So what is it that people don't understand? Because I want to get the facts out. The facts are, you're an adult, and he was a child. You entered into a sexual relationship. Factual so far?
Yes.
There's nothing misjudged about that. Those are the facts.
Yes.
Can't change the facts. Those are the facts. Okay, so where does the misjudgment come in, the misinterpretation?
That I don't want to be considered as a predator. It was not my intention to go ahead and look for TJ and specifically go ahead and try to have sex with him. We were online. We started getting to know each other. We had a connection, especially emotional. We did not plan on having a sexual encounter or anything like that.
2 years ago, when she was 28, she began developing a relationship with TJ, a then 15-year-old boy, you say 16. Now TJ and Melissa have a baby, and they say the baby was not a mistake. It was planned. Take a look.
What attracted me to Melissa was the fact that she isn't like every other girl where I live, doing drugs and drinking and going to clubs. She's the most beautiful girl I've ever met, and that means a lot to me. The pregnancy was my idea. I wanted to have a baby, and that's what we did. The money that I bring in, I pay for food, and I take care of half the week's rent every now and then. It's just good. It feels good to provide. I'm gonna try and get into the military, join the police force. If the whole military thing doesn't work out for me, I can get into some kind of a modeling career. That would be good. I'd like people to know I'm not a stupid boy. I'm a man and I'm a father, and I'm just trying to do what's right to take care of my family. I do have one thing that I'd like to say, and it's kind of like a thing for Dr. Phil. Like, I want to know what his opinion is. I want to know what his outlook on the whole thing is.
That's a fair question. And you want my professional opinion? Just straight up, right?
Yep.
And I'll give it to you in a minute. And some of it you probably like, and some of it you may not, but I'll tell you what I think. So how's it going between you two?
Really good, actually. You know, I really love her. She's a good person. She's a good mother. And I came here to really profess my love.
So she's a good mother. What do you have to compare that to? Your own mother?
Well, my mother left me when I was about 8 years old.
Right.
She disappeared. Me and my sister struggled a lot since she's been gone. And, you know, now I have a stepmother. And at times, you know, I feel like she can be a little disrespectful to me, and sometimes it feels like she doesn't care. But I know she's trying her best. Mm-hmm. But what I see in her, she's always attending to the children. She's always going up to them, "Are you okay? I love you," giving them kisses, feeding them, you know, pampering them, everything. And it's a wonderful thing.
So how are you guys as husband and wife?
We're good. Sometimes there's arguments, you know, but that's expected in every relationship. We're just trying to make the best of it.
Yeah. Do you think you'll be together long term?
I do, actually. I'd really like to marry her on my 18th birthday.
Yeah. She's looking at 15 years.
Right.
In prison. And given the magnitude of the offense here, she could well do 15 years. Right. Are you prepared to wait for her for 15 years?
Well, I would like to wait for her, you know, and in my own opinion, I don't really think she's going to go to prison. because it's her first offense. She's never been in trouble with the law before. And what we have here is real.
So you asked me what I thought here.
Yes.
Do I think this could work or not work? Do I think it's a good idea? Do I think it's a bad idea? So here's what I do. Here's what I do. I look at the risk factors. And I've done an assessment of what I think the risk factors are that I see, what the good things are, what the bad things are. And I want to do a risk analysis on this, go over it with you and see what you guys think. So when I come back, I'm going to give you a risk analysis of what I think this relationship is and get you guys to tell me, given those factors, what you think they are. I'll be right back. You face 15 years, prison sentence. You're living in a motel room. The police were called to that room 7 times. Do you think those things jeopardize the viability of this relationship? And later...
You're a pedophile?
She called me a pedophile.
You are a pedophile.
Okay, we're back, and I'm talking to Melissa and TJ, and Melissa and TJ have a child. It's 4 months old. It's from a relationship that started when TJ was 15 and you were 28. I did a risk analysis on this. Let's see what I consider the risk factors are. And here's one. You're currently out on bail and charged with unlawful sexual act with certain minors, and you face 15 years prison sentence and having to register as a registered sex offender on the federal registry. I would put that in the negative column, right? It'd be a negative risk factor.
I would like to add something to that, Dr. Phil.
It gets worse?
No. There could be actually a difference if I had an attorney. At the moment, I do not have a paid attorney because I can't afford it.
So on point 1, we should say prison sentence pending, no attorney. You're currently living in a motel room with a 3-year-old and your 4-month-old child.
Yes.
Correct? In the month of September alone, the police were called to that hotel room 7 times for domestic complaints between you two.
Right.
7 times.
Well, we get into arguments sometime, like I said, but it doesn't get physical, it doesn't get crazy.
It never has gotten physical.
I have a firm belief that a man should never put his hands on a woman, and I will always stand by that.
And he never has.
You have 2 older sons that are currently in the custody of an ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't seen them in over a year.
I haven't.
You made a conscious decision to have a child with a minor.
I did not decide to have a child with a minor. We both planned.
Well, it was my idea.
Your dream job is to be a journalist with a recognized publisher.
It is.
But you're concerned how this might reflect on your hireability being on the registered sex offender list.
I am concerned about this, but this is what I came here for, so that I could get some advice from you to see if is there a way to stop the judgment. That's why I came here, to speak out for myself and to demonstrate that I am not a predator.
Put your journalist hat on. Those are risk factors. Do you think those things jeopardize the viability of this relationship? Would those be pros or would those be cons?
No, I think those are things that we can definitely overcome once everything has been settled. TJ is a very mature person. And even though we have faced situations and problems, we are very much disposed to fight this situation.
As well as each other.
You know, is there anyone out here that has a perfect marriage or a perfect relationship?
Well, no, but Robin and I have been practicing for 40 years and we haven't had the cops called on us once. But there might be a little bit of misunderstandings in the beginning, but eventually those are things that can be worked out. Okay, let's take a break. TJ's stepmom has very strong opinions about this relationship and what his dad has to say as well when we come back. I don't like it when somebody comes out here and lies to me. Did you or did you not lie to him on the phone about your age?
My mom left me when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I don't know why she did, and I really love her, I miss her. My stepmom, she's always been against me on certain things. I was just looking for the nurturing and care that a mother has to offer, and she didn't really provide that much of it. The thing with Melissa is she is a wonderful mother, and the only person that I could see myself with is a woman who's going to take care of her children, who's not going to abandon them, and that's how she is.
Well, that was now 17-year-old TJ. He says he is in love with his 30-year-old girlfriend and mother of his 4-month-old child. The problem is she's facing a prison sentence because he's a minor. TJ's stepmom, C, says that this is not love, it's a crime. Take a look.
Melissa is a pedophile because she knew TJ was 15 when they first met up. She knew it was wrong. She was the adult. When I first found out about Melissa, I felt like my head was gonna explode. I said, she's a grown woman, and it's illegal. You need to break this off. It's not right, it's creepy. And to me, there's something wrong with her that she wants a little boy. The only thing I would want to say to Melissa is, you're a pedophile, you're a predator. You need to stop, get some psychiatric help, and if you must have a relationship, go find a man. There's a lot of them out there.
Well, now when TJ's father, Ed, found out about this relationship, he says he tried to stop it from the very beginning.
When I met Melissa, I thought she was in her 20s. I knew she wasn't 18. I asked her, what are you doing with my son? He's a boy, you're a woman. She said she was in love with him and he was in love with her. When I told TJ, he kind of freaked. I told him, these things don't work with this big an age difference. You're a teenage boy, you've got all this stuff ahead of you. And she doesn't realize what you've got to go through. I have tried to raise him the right way. I've tried to teach him right from wrong. TJ, I think, is out for TJ, and that's it. He only thinks of himself. The thing that's changed in all this is now TJ is a father. That's a big game changer. You have to be responsible for your kid. I don't think he understands the whole big picture of it.
Fatherhood is tough. Changing diapers is no fun.
I don't even know if TJ knows what love is yet. At 17, do you know what love is? What for the rest of your life is? I don't think so. What I've never said to Melissa was, I wish you'd never met my son, because I think he ruined his life over this relationship. He wanted to go into the Marines. He wanted to become a police officer. And those dreams are all gone now.
Okay, so tell me, you guys have been watching the show up till now.
Yeah.
TJ asked me what my opinion was of this situation, and I said, let's just assess it, take a look at the risk factors here, what the current state of affairs is. What do you guys think? What do you have to add?
Well, for one thing, they came out and said they didn't lie about her age, which is, you know, you told me when you first met her she was 18.
No, I said 23.
No, yeah, well, that's a lie too, because she wasn't 23 either. She was 28. You guys did not practice with her saying, so when I asked what year were you born, you didn't practice her saying 1988, so the numbers would come out right? You told me you practiced.
Okay.
So
no.
you didn't lie about her age.
Well, let me ask about that. Did you lie to me when I asked you about that?
Oh, no, absolutely. I always told TJ how old I was. He probably told his father that I was younger than what I really am so that he wouldn't.
TJ says he told his father that you two practiced your birth date, so if you had to come up with it, it would be where you were 23. So you were complicit in the lie.
I simply understood what he was going to say. I did not say no, I didn't say yes.
I didn't ask you on the phone what year were you born.
Now, what
you
I
didn't
don't
tell me
understand,
1988.
what I don't understand here, Ed, is that I know that there was a concern from you in the beginning.
Right.
There was. But then as time went by, and as soon as you found out how old I was, yes, you were still concerned. But we got to do a lot of things together. We went out, we attended family events. You gave yourself the chance to get to know
hold
me
on.
better.
Let me interrupt here.
I don't know why you're coming off to me like
Let me
that
come,
today.
I just want an answer to my question, because I don't like it when somebody comes out here and lies to me. Did you or did you not lie to him on the phone about your age?
I didn't.
Okay, so you did not get on the phone and say to him you were born in '88. So he's lying. Maybe that's why he's turning on you here, because you're calling him a liar.
The only way you guys can be together for now is if you both promise me there's going to be no sex. Now, maybe I was a little naive, thinking that there wouldn't be, but they both told me, oh, no, there won't be any sex between us.
And you believe that?
I believe that. Well, you know, I don't know. It was stupid to believe it. Looking back, I realize that. But TJ, you know, if TJ doesn't get his way, TJ has fits or runs away or things like that. No matter what I did with TJ, I let him do this, that falls. I told her, I said, as long as his grades stay up and he stays in school.
Well, did you agree with him that you wouldn't have sex with him till he was 18? If you think that we're here to assassinate your character, I can hand you a couple of cards here of information about you that I have not gone over, and you know what's on them. Did you agree with him that you wouldn't have sex with him till he was 18?
I don't remember him asking me that.
Okay. Did you agree with him that you would? Did you agree with him that he would stay in school till he graduated?
That I was going to be very supportive, but I do not own TJ. He makes his own decisions. There's something here that's not making a lot of sense, Ed.
What?
You were being really supportive with us. How come all of a sudden you're coming up to us so negative?
I want you guys to do one of two things. Either get some help and get along and stop fighting about everything. Okay, and it's not all your fault. He lies to you.
We both spend time together, and we both
Can I finish? You asked me a question.
Together, we both have a very strong emotional link.
Okay.
I understand.
Can I finish now?
Okay.
All right. Either you get help and stop fighting and stay together, or you turn around and walk away from each other. Just last week, he was saying he was going to ruin you. When you had that big fight and you didn't want him there, you said, that's it, I'm done. And what did he do?
He said that because he said that if I broke up with him, that would be the end of his life, so he would ruin me.
Right, and is that love?
Yeah, but no, it's not exactly
Someone's
like that.
Someone's going to ruin your
Sometimes
life?
when you have a fight and you say things, you don't necessarily mean them.
I never tell her I'm going to ruin her life.
No, he says that, it means that I actually have to take it like that. Because sometimes you say things that after an hour you say, oh my gosh, I really shouldn't have said that.
Excuse me for a second. What I meant by that is that if we were to break up, everyone would find out about it.
Yeah.
Okay, she's been on the news. I'm here right now, you know, and if we had broken up, I'm sorry, but her life would have been ruined.
No, that's not what you
Well,
said.
I mean, if I didn't stay by her side.
You had a whole list of TV shows in your hand, and you said, I'm going to call every one of these shows, and I'm going to ruin her life.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm not against you.
You are against
I just
me.
want you to straighten out your
Hey,
life.
listen, come on. Hey, wait a minute. You two talk to me for just a second, okay? Okay. And you need to get real here, lady. Okay? No, come on. Come on. You come out here with this high-handed, self-righteous chip on your shoulder, say, I want this to be positive about our love. What do you mean coming off negative? You jacked his son. You're 30 years old, you're having an affair with his minor son, and you're criticizing him because you've been nice to me, and now you're coming off negative. Dr. Phil, I want this to be positive. I want to set the record straight. I gave you the floor to set the record straight, and you had not doodly squat to say.
Dr. Phil, the only thing, we are here that the relationship was real, not that, you know, we would come up here with a fighting range.
You said you came here, you wanted to prove the relationship is real. So I put up the snapshot of your relationship. You're living in a motel room with 2 children. You have 2 boys, you have 2 children you haven't seen in a year. The cops came to your hotel room 7 times in a month. He's threatening to ruin you. You're continuing to fight, and you want me to stand up here and pretend like, oh, yes, it's okay. People just need to give you a chance. Come on, get real.
What I don't understand is...
Don't give me that self-righteous crap like you're offended. Get offended if you want to get offended. I don't care.
I totally understand. I totally understand your point of view. I definitely do. What I don't understand is, Ed, if you were against our relationship, why did you act like a real father-in-law with me throughout all this time, and then all of a sudden you change?
I was against your relationship until that baby was born. When that baby was born, that did change things for me.
We both went out together before the baby was born.
When did we go out together?
We both went out together.
What is your point?
My point is that I feel like I am terribly judged by you when you weren't like that with me the whole entire time.
I have tried to help you guys, talk to you guys. You call me at 2:30 in the morning screaming hysterical because you're fighting.
That's okay. You can speak, but let me tell you something. If you think that we're here to assassinate your character, I can hand you a couple of cards here of information about you that I have not gone over, and you know what's on them. Because I don't want to go there. So don't play that card and sad sack look with me, lady. I'm trying to deal with the facts here. If you continue telling yourself, well, you know, I didn't know he was a minor at the time. What are you shaking your head for? You asked me for some advice. I'll give you some advice. You need to get out of denial and recognize that you are in a lot of trouble. You are in a lot of trouble here. You continue telling yourself, well, you know, I didn't know he was a minor at the time. You said you decided on purpose to what are you shaking your head for? Is there something I'm saying that is inaccurate?
Because he said that he would come here and stay supportive.
I did not say I would stay supportive.
Excuse me. Supportive of what?
Of the relationship.
Really?
Yeah.
Supportive of a felonious relationship with his son.
Supportive of the relationship. Isn't that right?
He did.
Wow. So we're going to have the tail wagging the dog here. You've run away 40 times. You've run away 40 times. You've dropped out of school. You have no steady job. You've now brought a child into the world. You have no plan of moving forward. And we're going to let you guys start making the decisions. If she goes in for 15 years, you know you're not going to be there for 15 years when she comes out. You know, the fans, not the players. You know, come on. And you want advice from me? I'll tell you my advice from me. You need to have better judgment. You say, I want to be a career journalist. You don't get a career journalist with a trademark publication by having a felony record for sleeping with children. That's not a good resume item. Okay? You've got to think about that in advance.
Funny.
I don't think it's funny at all.
I don't think it's funny either.
I don't think it's funny at all.
She was acting like Peaches and Cream with me like a few days ago.
Melissa, I have never.
She called me a pedophile. I didn't call her name.
You are a pedophile.
Because I didn't call her name.
You are a pedophile.
I am not.
You asked me on. Hush. Hush.
I am not going to church. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I am going to stand up for myself.
You've been.
No,
let me talk.
I have always offered this chance for us to meet so that you can get to know me.
And you asked me on the phone last week, why have you never wanted to meet me and hang out with me? And I gave you a straightforward answer. I said, I don't want to meet you and hang out with you because you're a pedophile. You've ruined my stepson's life. You're
ruined my
a
life.
predator,
Doesn't really
and I don't hang out with
I
people
did
like
not
that.
ruin TJ's life. He decided to drop out of school so
That
he
was
could
my
be
only
a responsible parent.
Well,
that doesn't mean that that is the end of his
Let me
life,
say something
ma'am.
here, and then we're going to take a
He
break.
has the chance to finish
Melissa,
school and
excuse me.
support him.
Let me say something here.
Yes.
And I want to say this to you from a legal standpoint as well as a commonsensical standpoint. And listen, I'm not a lawyer, but as I say, I have worked as a legal psychologist, and I understand precisely what I'm getting ready to tell you. You said you made the decision, and this is going to be painful for you to hear, but you can't make that decision. Because you see, under the law, children do not have the capacity for informed consent. The reason they have the rule of statutory rape is because the law believes that children do not have the capacity to consent to an adult act. So when you say, I made the decision, this was voluntary, she didn't force this on me, I made the decision. The truth is, the law deems that children don't have the ability to decide to enter into an intimate act with an adult. So you don't have the ability to give her permission in the eyes of the law. Also, you don't have the ability to do that from a psychological standpoint either. And I don't mean this in a condescending way, but your brain isn't through growing. Your brain will grow until you're 25. And the last part of the brain that grows is the neocortex. And that's where the reasoning centers are. And that's where the part of the brain is that allows you to predict the consequences of your actions. That's the reason children are considered to have limited capacity and an inability to give consent. So you cannot give consent, either legally or psychologically, to enter into the relationship that you are in with her. That's why she is culpable and you are not, and we'll be right back.
She's not a predator. She wasn't hunting me down. She wasn't looking to have sex with minors. And I'm going to keep fighting it because I don't think it's fair that she goes to prison.
Melissa has been charged by the police with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors because, according to the police, she had sex with TJ when she was 28 and he was only 16. She is facing up to 15 years in prison. TJ says that's a long time.
When TJ and Melissa have a fight, TJ gets very threatening. Probably around a year ago, they had a big blowout. He got caught talking to another girl, and he decided, he said, Dad, take me to the police. I'm going to turn Melissa in. And I said, are you sure you want to do this? He said, yeah, I'm done with her. I said, all right, fine. I took him to the police. He filled out a report. Of course, 2 days later, they were back together. He's like, Dad, why did I do that? I said, you know, you're going to have to live with this.
To my understanding, it was not TJ who went to the authorities. It was one of his relatives.
She's not a predator. She wasn't hunting me down. She wasn't looking to have sex with minors. And I'm going to keep fighting it because I don't think it's fair that she goes to prison for something like that.
I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose our kids.
Well, I promise nothing bad is going to happen to you because I love you. I'm going to take care of you.
I am willing to prove to them and to anybody else that I never had any bad intentions with DJ, that we were both friends and that we both fell in love with each other and that we want to be together forever.
If she goes to prison for 15 years is a long time, and I am young. As much as I'd want to wait for her, I'd wait for a few years, but at a certain point I would just have to move on.
For a few years.
Huh?
For a few years.
No.
What do you want to say?
Well, what I have to say is, my dad was supportive. He was. When that baby was born, he was supportive. You know, he knew we were together. He knew I was living there for a long time. And for him to come on here and say some of the things that he said, It shocks me. It really
Let me
does.
tell you what your father said to us.
Okay.
Off camera, backstage. Here's exactly what he said to us. He said he was absolutely against this when he found out about it, did everything he could to try to stop it. He said when this baby was born, he said he did a complete 180. He said at that point, I recognize there's now a child involved. My son has a child. And he said at that point, he said, it's kind of like I got to be the calm in the middle of the storm here. I love this baby. I'm going to be supportive in this situation. And I tell you, I read everything that he said, and I came away as a father. I read you as saying, you know what? In all likelihood, she's going to be so gone so fast, and I'm going to be there for my son and that child, and I am going to be supportive. If she were to stay in a situation, fine. If she goes, fine. But I'm going to be a positive, and I think he stepped up for you and your baby. And I have not heard him say one thing inconsistent with that here today.
But I do
For
love
him to be
Melissa.
happy about the fact that this woman came in and got involved with you and purposely had a baby when you're still a teenager, he's not happy about. I don't think he's ever been inconsistent about that. And I think he was before today, is now as he sits here, and will after this show continue to be supportive of the situation as it is now. And I think it is very grandiose of him to do that.
I want you to respect the fact that I love her. I really do.
Melissa, you say, I want to be a journalist. Well, then you know what? Don't go out and commit crimes, because criminals don't become journalists.
But to me and to us, this is not a crime.
Well, I'm sorry, but you don't make the laws. You are just governed by them.
I couldn't help. We couldn't help to fall
Well,
in
write
love
your
with each
congressman
other.
then. Change the law. But right now, that is the law. Listen, I spent 15 years. Listen, hear me. This is valuable advice. This is valuable advice. I spent 15 years as a litigation consultant. I lived in trial. That's how I wound up here. I represented Oprah. I represented all the networks. I spent time in trial. I prepared witnesses. And I promise you, if you take this attitude to trial, they will put you under the jail. You can't go in there with this defiant, just, hey, it's just what I wanted to do. He was almost old enough. That just doesn't work.
It's not that this is the way that I want to be. It's just I feel so pressured and so judged right now. It's like nobody really knows who I really am. I want the chance. I want the chance for people to get to know me. I am not a predator.
But what do you want us to go home with you and live in a motel room for a week? What do you?
No, but I decided to speak up about this situation. I did not set out to go after him.
Okay, let me tell you something. I'm honest to God trying to help you here. And you need to get something or you're there. There is a way you can get through this without doing 15 years. There's a way you can go through this without doing 15 years in jail. But with the attitude you've got, you're playing the victim here. And lady, you're not the victim, you're the perpetrator. And you got to own that. And do you get that? Do you get that? You don't get that, do you? You don't think you've done anything wrong, do you?
I feel like I have been set up.
Set up?
No, I'm trying to get you help.
Not 5 minutes ago, I said, I'm going to tell you how you can stay out of jail. You just totally blew me off and kept telling your victim story. let me tell you something. If I were you and I had stepped up and said, you want to know how to stay out of jail? I believe I'd have shut my mouth and opened my ears. But that's just me. Well, you know, Albert Einstein said it pretty well. He said, you'll never solve problems using the same thinking that you created them with. You got to move over and come up with some new thinking. And I certainly think that that's true in this case. You need some new thinking. If you're looking for advice on what to do with teens that are out of control or blindsided by love, log on to drphil.com. Thanks for being here. So long.
عصبنا جيبه لنفسك. تعال يا زريبة صحيح. اصبر بس يا حبيبي. يا ابني ما انا مديها لك في راسك، بقول لك ايه بضرب السلاح بتاعك. احنا هتنزل بعض. تعال استغفر الله العظيم. مش مقصود يا جدعان، مش مقصود. يا ابني في ايه يا ابني؟ ارحمني والله. بص انا على اخري، انا جاضد من الدنيا، خلي بالك. ارحمني ايه ده؟ انت جبت لي الضغط يا راجل. وانت مسابقني؟ وانت سابقتني في كلات؟ اطلع اديني واحدة كمان، والله ما طلع، مش هتحصل طلقة كمان. ايوه كده. عيش سكوب، ما هي الردود والله. ايوه بس هرد على التليفون